Tonight from Fenway Park, the Red Sox take on division rivals from Tampa Bay for the first time in the new season. The Rays in for 3 to wrap up a 10-game homestand. The Sox looking to get over 500 tonight. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Yawkey Way. Great to have you, and great to have Jerry Remy, the Rem Dog, back. I'm Dave O'Brien. And, Jerry, Red Sox pitching lately has really steadied. And yesterday, Clay Buchholz was outstanding. The bullpen couldn't hold it in the end. That was a disappointing loss on Patriots Day, but not because of Clay Buchholz, and the staff's been very good.
You're exactly right, Dave. You know, when you look the first time through the rotation, it was a bit of a struggle for the Red Sox, but they have certainly turned that around the second time through, and the numbers certainly bear that out. You can see the record the last 4 games, 2-1, but a 2.42 ERA. And the impressive thing, only 3 walks in 26 innings to go along with 25 strikeouts and a 217 batting average against. Now, that's pretty impressive for the starters his second time through the rotation. Now, Joe Kelly gets a start tonight for the Red Sox against a club right now that is struggling offensively. They don't walk very much, so he's going to be very aggressive early in counts.
Joe Kelly has won 9 consecutive decisions, going for 10 straight here against Tampa Bay, and looking for a nice weather night here on Yawkey Way. Red Sox and the Rays coming up from Fenway Park. BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. By Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. By Subaru Retailers of New England, supplying award-winning all-wheel drive vehicles throughout New England. By DraftKings, the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of your Boston Red Sox. By LL Bean. By Kia. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Sox are 3-4 so far in a 10-game homestand, about to hit the road for Houston and Atlanta after Thursday's day game. On Monday, the Sox pen allowed 4 runs in the 8th inning. As we turn to our man Gary Streisky. Gary, it was a wild ride.
Dave, certainly uncharacteristic, and that pretty much bodes to the fact that how badly this team needs Carson Smith to come back from that ailing arm. Until then, we're going to see one of the anchors of this bullpen. I'm not talking Craig Kimbrell. I'm talking about his setup guy, or his supposed to be setup guy, Koji Uehara, a lot more until he's ready to come back. Of the 12 games, we've seen him 8 times, and John Farrell addressing his guy, getting a lot of work.
Ideally, I'd like to stay away from him, to give him a couple of days. I've leaned on him. There's no doubt about it. You know, I've pushed him. And coming out, as we just talked about with bullpen usage, you get into situations where you've got a lead. You've got a couple of guys, 3 guys that you're looking to go to in that 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. And I've pushed him early.
You talk about John Farrell relying on a guy. Hopefully he's going to rely on this guy, Joe Kelly, to go hopefully past the 6th, 7th inning to give that bullpen a blow. OB, you were talking about it, 9 consecutive wins. Joe Kelly trying to make that 10 pretty soon. First pitch coming up.
brought to you by T-Mobile. Get Major League coverage. T-Mobile has doubled its 4G LTE in the past year. BuyAToyota.com, Toyota's website for deals. By Hair Cuttery, smart looks, smart prices. And by Southern New Hampshire University. See yourself succeed at snhu.edu. Very pleasant night here at Fenway. It's going to be on the chilly side, but not a cloud in the sky pretty much, as the Red Sox entertain the Tampa Bay Rays, and they're going to get very familiar. 19 meetings between the two. Last year, the Sox were 9-10 against the Rays, but Tampa Bay, as Jerry mentioned, comes in really scuffling on the offensive end. They've scored just 34 runs, their fewest ever after 12 games. They find themselves in the basement right now at 5-7. Sox right at 500, as is Toronto, and the Yankees at 5-6. Toronto at 7-7. And of course, the Red Sox, after this 3-game series, will hit the road once again. They'll be heading for Houston and then Atlanta. So spending a little bit of time as far as Atlanta back in the National League. Red Sox taking the field here as we give you a look at the starting lineup for Tampa Bay. It's brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. Logan Forsythe will lead it off. Logan Morrison is at first base. Evan Longoria at third. Corey Dickerson at DH. Desmond Jennings, the left fielder. Then it's Brad Miller at short. Steven Souza in right field. Kevin Kiermaier, an outstanding defender in center. And Kirk Casale is the catcher and batting ninth. All up against Joe Kelly, the Red Sox starting pitcher, presented by your New England Audi dealers. He's 1-0, an ERA of 10.13. And he became the first pitcher this season to beat the Baltimore Orioles after they had started the season 7-0.
And the Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are first in the American League, 4 errors in 12 games. Travis Shaw will be at third base, and Bogarts at shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second, and Hanley Ramirez at first base. Left and right, Chris Young, Jackie Bradley Jr., Mookie Betts, and doing the catching for Joe Kelly would be Ryan Hannigan.
Tonight's umpires are brought to you by ToyotaCertified.com. Search for your factory-backed Toyota certified used vehicle right now. It'll be Jim Joyce, the veteran behind the plate. He's one of the very best. Toby Basner at first, James Hoy at second, and Chad Fairchild will make the calls at third base. Where available, this telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP is presented by ToyotaCertified.com. Search for your factory-backed Toyota certified used vehicle right now.
Buenas noches, amigos.
Here's a look at our forecast for tonight. Temperature in the 50s. The wind should not be a big factor for one of the few times at Fenway in the early going on the schedule. And a forecast for partly cloudy, but we're going to see a lot of stars tonight as Joe Kelly is on the hill. He really had to work for that victory over Baltimore. These cold, hard facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light. And looking at Joe's pitch selection in his 2 starts this season, obviously Remdog fastball heavy because he can get it up there to 98.
Yeah, and you see the last time out, more change-ups for Joe Kelly. And, you know, as John Farrell has mentioned many, many times, it's so important for him to use his whole arsenal of pitches. 56% last time of fastballs. But look at the curveballs and change-ups. 10% curveballs, and the change-ups 17.2%. So, you know, that's the kind of mix I think Joe Kelly would like.
Slider's been a good pitch for him, too.
It has. It really has been.
We'll see if he tests Logan Forsythe with that right away. This is a Rays team doing a lot of swinging and missing. They have swung at 51% of all pitches thrown, the highest rate in the majors. And Forsythe to get in. And Joe Kelly working with Ryan Hannigan tonight delivers. And we're underway with strike one.
Exactly right, too. On the first pitch, he throws that slider for a strike to get ahead. That kind of messes with the hitter's mind a little bit.
Forsythe hitting just .220 with 2 home runs. Tried to check. Did he offer? No, he did not, says Toby Basner.
By design, the Red Sox wanted to go upstairs with the fastball that time, and that's exactly where they got it, but Forsythe did not chase it.
A strike. Jim Joyce is one of our favorite umpires because you could be in Marshfield right now and hear him. They kind of love that. any corner of the ballpark, he barks it out. Kelly looking for a K. 2-2.
Upstairs again by design, and again Forsythe not chasing it. But the last 3 pitches have been fastballs up in the zone or out of the zone.
Two on the way. Logan Morrison is on deck, and then Evan Longoria. Rays, of course, no longer managed by Joe Madden. He's been with the Cubs for a couple of seasons now, and Kevin Cash is their 38-year-old skipper, former Red Sox catcher, of course. He's younger than David Ortiz and Koji. Did a nice job with them last year. 3-2.
I like what Mookie Betts has done here with 2 strikes on the hitter. He has moved in a couple of steps in right field. You know, a lot of times when they have 2 strikes, it's more of a defensive swing. So in the opposite field, you try to come in a couple of steps.
The payoff pitch for Forsythe, and he walks him. So the leadoff man is on. We can't say enough about the performance of Clay Buchholz yesterday, which continues, as you said, Jerry, a string of very strong efforts from this rotation.
Well, you know, the beginning of the season, it was a tough go for the rotation the first time through, but they've got things settled down. Now it's a question of getting both the starting pitching and the relief pitching all working on the same page. And if the Red Sox can do that, they're going to have success. But Clay, yesterday, you see the 6 2/3, a couple of walks, couple of strikeouts, and not giving up a run.
I think also remembering, you look at that line, that's impressive against any team. That was against Toronto.
Yes.
And that's a vicious offensive lineup. Is Morrison, and he looks at a pitch inside, ball 1. Logan Morrison, the first baseman. And that was the other thing I thought about Joe Kelly's outing that kind of got lost in the shuffle when he went 5 innings, got the win. The Orioles could not be any hotter, or at that time could not have been any hotter. I mean, you throw 116 pitches in 5 innings. That kind of makes sense to me against that lineup.
Absolutely. He came up very big against Baltimore.
The 1-0 downstairs.
Tries his first changeup of the night that time, but too low. Travis Shaw well off the line at third base. Certainly a pull infield right now for the Red Sox. Not a shift infield, but a pull infield. See Shaw way off the line. They're almost halfway between third base and second base.
Both Kelly and Morrison have spent time in the National League, so Morrison has a little more experience against him. He's 2 for 11. That's a strike.
That's a nice pitch by Kelly, right back to the changeup and right back to the outside part of the plate. You can see the little movement tailing away right there from Morrison, and a perfect pitch by Kelly.
Yesterday, the Red Sox turned 5 double plays, and 4 of them while Clay was in the game.
Changeup once more.
Dribbler on the infield. Pedroia will have 1 play. That's first base. And Forsythe safely into second. This Let's Motor player profile presented by BMW Mini. Evan Longoria at Fenway Park last year hit .410 with 3 homers and 7 runs batted in. So he was trouble. He is their franchise leader with 207 homers, 25 against the Sox. He has a runner at second base. No score first inning, just getting started. Hitting .265 with a pair of home runs. And the first one from the right-hander. Right through there for a strike. Earlier this month, Longoria tweeted, "Mookie Betts is my favorite player right now. He's a baller." He sent that to Mark DeRosa, who had just done a segment on Mookie for the Major League Baseball Network. But Mookie, I don't think has responded to that yet. Quite a compliment.
Now, one way, Dave, he could respond is give him one of his bobbleheads that they're giving away at the ballpark tonight. Give it to Longoria.
Why not? They're pretty darn sharp. It's Mookie making a spectacular diving play. First 15,000 fans, everybody got one. Jerry's giving me his, which I thank you very much for.
Anytime.
I can go home now. 2-1. Here's a closer look at the Mookie bobblehead.
Going into the bullpen area, right? Making a catch.
Yep. Signing those earlier here at Fenway. Two and one on Longoria. And pinned to the outside corner to even the count.
Now, so far, Kelly's made some pretty good pitches location-wise. I mean, they want this fastball on the outside part of the plate. That's exactly where he gets it against Longoria, and Longoria takes it.
Forsythe leading at second base with one away. 3-2. A lot of changeups from Joe Kelly early on. And now he's gone full here on Longoria. Dickerson, the DH, is next.
Yeah, it's like the graphic we showed you just a little bit earlier about the changeups he threw in that last outing he made. He really increased the number of them. And as you're right, Dave, there's a lot of them here in the first inning.
And a very deliberate tempo. Here's the 3-2. And he walked him, so he's walked a couple. So that'll put him on at first and second for the cleanup man. That was a changeup as well.
Certainly was. And, you know, this is a team that now has 2 walks, Tampa Bay, in the first inning, and they came into the game last in the league in walks. And Joe had 5 walks in his last outing against the Orioles, but only gave up the 2 runs.
Dickerson to step in, hitting .222. He's homered 3 times. He was acquired from Colorado in January. He was the Rockies' opening day left fielder last year. And now here in the American League, and a chance to do some damage right away. Red Sox would love to stay on his run of double plays turned. And that's up top for ball 1.
Now the Red Sox playing a double play situation here as we're going to get a visit from Kyle Willis to Joe Kelly, where they are playing him to pull in, but you can't send Pedroia to the outfield, because if you do, you're not going to be able to get a double play. So you've got to stay very deep in the infield.
I wonder if part of this conversation is a reminder that Joe Kelly has a big time fastball, and maybe break that out here.
Could very well be. It has been a lot of changeups and a lot of sliders here early in the first inning for Joe Kelly.
Tampa Bay did all right last year. They went 80-82. They have solid pitching. They did last year. They do again with Chris Archer, Smiley, Matt Moore. They expect to be very tough in their rotation, tough to score on. The question is, can they score enough to keep up with the big boys in this division?
See where Pedroia is playing like there. He'd like to be back on the grass probably, but you can't do that in a double play situation. You would never turn the 2.
Into the dirt.
It's interesting. They come right back with a changeup after the meeting.
Now Joe has thrown 19 pitches, only 7 strikes. Trying to lock in here against Dickerson. He's got some pop in the bat. Here comes the 2-0. That is ball 3.
And that's one that Joe Kelly wanted. He thought he had the inside corner that time on the fastball, but not going his way. See Hannigan reach over on the inside part of the plate, and Joyce got a good look at that because he is between the hitter and the catcher there.
The 3-0 pitch. A strike. Desmond Jennings up next. Hitters count for Dickerson. Forsythe and Longoria lead. Big swing and a miss. He went down on a knee.
Wow. How about that swing? A 3-1 swing designed to make this a 3-0 ball game. The swing down to the back knee. I don't know if he lost his balance or he intended to do that, but he wanted to hit that ball a long way.
As mentioned, the highest swing rate in the majors. They don't all look like that swing. 3-2. He got him. But he came back and he went back to back with the fastball, Jerry.
Yeah, and he kept that fastball down. 2 identical swings. The one that he missed was at 3-1. It was a little bit more elevated than that last time. This time he goes down just below the knees. Too close to take, and picks up the strikeout. Well, we got a meeting at the mound now, and it looks like they're calling out Brad Pearson, the trainer, and John Farrell.
They're going to call him out. Now, whether he did it on that last pitch or before, whatever he may have done that is ailing Joe, they're starting to move around in that bullpen already. This might explain why there were so many changeups.
It could. Fastball we had registered at 93 miles an hour. Looks like he's trying to convince people he's okay, but we'll see.
We're going to effort to see if we can find anything here in this top of the first inning that would tip off what's the matter with Joe. And here's a look.
Let's take a look at a couple of pitches right here. See Kelly in a normal set position.
That was 2 pitches ago. Little grimace.
Yeah, a little grimace and pulling that right shoulder back a little bit.
A long conversation on the mound here with Brad Pearson, the trainer, and John Farrell. Is it a question of just getting looser? It's a chilly night, as mentioned.
Well, they're not going to take any chances. That's for absolutely sure.
Yeah, John Farrell's pretty emphatic about this. He's doing the talking, and they want to see him throw.
If he feels anything at all, I'm sure he'll be removed from this game.
Yeah, no doubt. You're talking about a manager who has had Tommy John twice. Talking to Joe Kelly and wants to make 100% sure he feels good. And that conversation continues. And he's coming out. So that is all for Joe Kelly, and I think all of those changeups now make perfect sense.
Yeah, we had a great shot of that one throw to home plate where you could see him flinch that right shoulder back. And you know, I'm speculating, and I don't want to speculate, but you just wonder if it has anything to do with that. As Dave mentioned a couple of pitches ago, now watch the reaction after the pitch to home plate. Watch his right shoulder. Just kind of pulls it back a little bit.
Well, the Red Sox today recalled right-hander Heath Hembree from AAA Pawtucket. He didn't expect to get in this quickly. Noe Ramirez optioned to the Paw Sox. That was following Monday's game against Toronto. But Hembree has to make an emergency appearance right here. He'll get as many warm-up tosses as he requires because he was not warming up out there. And we will get you an update on Joe Kelly as soon as we can. Well, you could tell something was amiss. He walked 2 men right away. Jerry, he was top heavy with the off-speed stuff. It was pretty obvious something was nagging at him. And when we caught that shot of him grimacing, that pretty much clinched it.
Yeah, and the players certainly noticed because all of them came to the mound after that last strikeout and immediately called for John Farrell and Brad Pearson to come out of that dugout. And they don't want to take any chances, obviously, at all with Joe Kelly. Here's the pitch we were talking about. Now watch Joe after he makes his delivery and he starts to recoil back to the mound. You can see, watch his right shoulder kind of pull it back. Now I don't want to speculate on what the injury is, but it just seemed to me like the right shoulder was pulled back like it was tight.
And obviously it could also be a case of a guy who just couldn't get loose tonight. It might be that simple, but there was a grimace there.
Yeah, and John Farrell was emphatic when he went out there that you know, that we're not going to leave you out here if you feel anything at all.
Right. That's a no-brainer. So unfortunately, Joe Kelly has to leave here tonight. He's working on a string of 9 consecutive victories, but has to come out in the very first inning. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Kia. So Hembry's into the game. Just about got here a matter of hours ago practically, and here he is in a contest. Last year 22 appearances, 2-0, and ERA of 3.55. You know, the fastball for Joe only registered top end 93, 94. That was another tip off because, as we said, he's a guy who throws, you know, close to 100 miles an hour when he really wants to bring it.
Yeah, let's just hope for his sake and for the Red Sox sake that it's nothing serious, and maybe you're right, Dave, maybe it's a case of just not being able to get loose, but you know, hopefully it's not a serious injury for Joe Kelly and not one that's going to put him on a disabled list. Maybe just one of those things that happened tonight, but we'll just have to wait and see. I hate speculating on any kind of injury at all. Hembry was called up, and it was interesting. John Farrell said we're going to be facing a lot of teams now that have some left-handed hitters, and he felt like Noe Ramirez was more suited for teams who are right-handed heavy, and they felt like Hembry was better for teams that are left-handed heavy. He throws over the top more than Noe Ramirez does, and that's one of the reasons they made the switch. And here he is in the first inning. I mean, this is almost like a start for him.
Sure. By the way, going back to September 15th, we checked this. Joe Kelly had to come out of a game because of some fatigue in the shoulder and some tightness in the shoulder, and that's why he had to depart a start on September 15th. And again, we don't want to speculate what this might be. And as soon as we get an update, we will pass it along to you on Joe Kelly. But just 2/3 of an inning, walking 2 men, and he has to depart, and clearly was not himself. So Heath Hembry out of the bullpen. And again, he can warm up as long as he wants. He will let the umpire and the crew chief, Jim Joyce, know when he's all set. In his major league career, 2-0, a 3.14 ERA, so he's had some very solid appearances at the major league level.
Yeah, last year 22 games for the Red Sox over 4 different stints with the club.
So no score in this one. If you're just joining us, Joe Kelly has been forced out of the ball game. We're not sure why after just 2/3 of an inning. And of course the Red Sox are awaiting the return of another starter already in Eduardo Rodriguez after that rather freaky injury in spring training with his knee. He's making his way back. He's on the road to recovery. Sometime in May is the hope of getting Eddie back in the rotation. Now Joyce out to see just how close Hembry is to being ready to go here.
It looks like he's pretty close. He's used to getting ready quickly as a guy that works out of the bullpen. So I think he's 1 pitch away from resuming this ball game.
There are 2 out, but Tampa Bay has 2 men on, and Desmond Jennings is the batter, 270 with a homer and 2 runs batted in. And he's about to take his cuts. So Hembry has to be hustled into the game in an emergency capacity in the first inning. Jennings, a right-hand batter. He was recruited by the University of Alabama to play football. He was a gifted wide receiver, but he chose baseball instead. And Hembry ready to work with 2 down. He spins towards second but doesn't throw. Hoping to catch Forsythe napping after a bit of a wait. And it is inside for ball 1. Tampa Bay currently last in the American League in runs, batting average, doubles, and on base percentage. But threatening here in the first. That's a strike.
Been a couple of those calls tonight by Jim Joyce, fastballs that have been up and in. A lot of times those are not called strikes, but Joyce has called 2 of them tonight.
Forsythe at second, Longoria at first. They both walk to reach. Fouled back, and it's 1-2, so Hembree has the upper hand.
And he right now is throwing the fastball at 93 miles an hour.
Jennings, a guy who has a lot of talent but has had a lot of trouble staying healthy. And Hembree with a 1-2. He got him. He struck him out with a slider. And 2 men are left. The Red Sox coming up for the first time here tonight. Tampa Bay stranding 2, and the Red Sox lineup is brought to you by buyatoyota.com. Toyota's website for deals. Mookie Betts is in right, Dustin Pedroia at second. Xander Bogaerts at short with David Ortiz the DH. Hanley Ramirez at first, Travis Shaw at third base, hitting in the 340s. Chris Young in left, Ryan Hannigan catching, and Jackie Bradley is in center field and batting ninth. Rays starting pitcher presented by Buick. It is Drew Smyly, the left-hander. He's 0-2. Only the second lefty, Jerry, as far as starters that the Red Sox have faced.
And he's been very tough against the Red Sox in his career. 3-1 with a 1.77 ERA. That's in 8 appearances and 6 starts.
That's an early sample, but Mookie seems to get a good look at him. 5 for 12 with a home run, and that's ball 1. You always want to do something special on your bobblehead night. 1 ball, 1 strike. So what will it be? Will it be a 3-run homer? Will it be a home run saving catch?
How about a game winner?
Or a game winner? I like that. Everyone get their Mookie bobbleheads. Mookie 0 for 4 yesterday. Waved at and missed. The bat goes flying back behind him, and he strikes out.
The Rays defense is brought to you by DraftKings, and they are currently 4th in the league with 6 errors in 12 games. Evan Longoria at third base, Brad Miller the shortstop, Logan Forsythe at second, and Logan Morrison the first baseman. Left to right, Desmond Jennings, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. Kurt Casale doing the catching for Smyly.
Smiley 6'3", about 190 pounds. Out of Little Rock, Arkansas, facing Dustin Pedroia. Petey stepping in at 298, no homers. He's driven in 3. Dustin has hit safely in 10 in a row. He had a single in the 9th inning yesterday to run it to 10 straight. The 2-0. He wouldn't chase it. Good take there. And the count goes to 3-0. Bogart's next. Taking all the way, a strike.
Well, they're really taking that third base area away from Pedroia. They're really pinching the third baseman and the shortstop, Miller and Longoria. Look at all the room up the middle for Dustin.
Has the count his way, and he fouls it back. Fans, be sure to stop by Plain Ridge Park Casino. Plain Ridge Park Casino is the official sponsor of Winning.
There you see all that area Dustin has to hit in. They really pinch that left side of the infield.
In there, strike 3. Caught him looking with a fastball.
That's 2 very good pitches here for outs in the first inning by Smiley. A changeup to Betts and a fastball almost unhittable on the outside part of the plate. Dustin was heading for first base, but that's a pretty nasty pitch right there, right on the corner.
11 strikeouts in his last start against the Indians, and yet he lost the game. Tampa Bay pitching has not been well supported. Here's Xander, and Bogarts takes a strike. He is 3 for 12 against Smiley, who deals the 0-1. High fly to right, lazily hit. Souza coming in, and the Red Sox go fast. 0-0 after 1 at Fenway. Sox season ticket holders experience the best seats, price, and benefits that Fenway has to offer. For information on becoming a season ticket holder, just visit redsox.com/season tickets or call 877-RED-SOX-9 today. Jerry Remy, the Rem Dog, alongside Dave O'Brien. Great to have you with us at Fenway. Second inning, we have no score. And Heath Hembree pitching into his second frame now, having to come on in an emergency capacity for Joe Kelly, who had to depart after 2/3 of an inning. So it could be a long stint out there tonight for the right-hander Hembree, getting Brad Miller here, then Steven Souza and Kiermaier.
Yeah, one thing the Red Sox are going to have to do very carefully is manage that bullpen tonight because of obviously injury to Joe Kelly.
John Farrell has already said he's going to stay away from Koji maybe for a couple of days to give him some rest. As John said, I've really been leaning on him.
When you look at Hembree, who's in the ballgame now, the most pitches he made down at Pawtucket so far this season is 24. So you can't expect much more than maybe 2, maybe 3 innings out of him.
That's how long he went in the minors. His longest was 2. The Rays acquired Miller in a November trade from Seattle. 19 games he's hit well against the Red Sox for some reason. .328. Up the middle for a base hit, so he stays at it. That was sharply hit.
It sounded like it might have ticked the glove of Hembree as it went by. Let's take a listen right there, but it didn't seem to slow up at all. Right back up the middle for Miller, and the leadoff man on in the second inning. Here's the look at Hembree as he follows through. Does he get a piece of the glove on it? It sounded like it did, but it didn't slow the ball up very much.
So the leadoff man is on in Miller. And here's Souza, who appeared in 110 games last year for the Rays. And in 373 at bats, he struck out 144 times. He likes to swing the bat. He does have power. He hits 16 homers. Scoreless here in the second inning. And he'll take it over but low for a ball. Well, everything was just perfect about Patriots Day, Remdog, except for the baseball final.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate ending yesterday for the Red Sox. Trying to bounce back in this one tonight. There you see the stolen base numbers for Miller.
The 1-0 fouled away. Although it looked for the longest time like the Red Sox were going to win 1-0. Shutout by Clay Buchholz.
Yeah, they had a great start by Buchholz yesterday.
But a very rough end for the bullpen. And two guys who John Farrell has really counted on have done some excellent work to this point. Had a difficult time there in the 8th and 9th. Outside for a ball, and the Red Sox did rally and had David Ortiz at the plate.
Well, certainly a running count here, 2 balls and 1 strike. We'll see if Miller takes off at first base. You see Pedroia and Bogaerts give the signs to each other on who has coverage.
2-1, and back goes Miller. Kiermaier, the Gold Glove center fielder, is on deck. Here comes the 2-1 runner holding, and foul tipped into the glove.
A good pitch by Hembree. He keeps that ball away. It's a strike, but it's on the outside part of the plate, and that's not something Souza was looking for on the 2-1 count. He's looking middle in. Instead, he gets one away and fouls it right into the glove of Hannigan.
Righties 2-2 with a runner staying put, and that's outside.
I'll see if they get him going now on the 3-2 count. See who's got coverage on this and who's giving the signs. You'll see the glove go up in front of their face on the 3-2 count. Reading the signal first from the catcher and then give the sign.
Runner goes. Swinging a high twisting pop up. The shortstop Bogart's backing out. Young coming in from left. He'll take it. One man out. Calling all Bruins fans. Tomorrow Nesson will have live coverage of the season-ending press conference. And here's what the Bees front office will be saying about the past season. You'll hear all about that. Tune in tomorrow morning at 10. So one away, and Kiermaier will dig in next against Hembree. The reigning American League Gold Glove winner in center field. You remember the days when they used to give all the outfielders, the guys who won, it didn't matter. You got a Gold Glove if you were the right fielder, center fielder, or left fielder. It didn't matter.
Exactly right.
But now they specify if you're the left fielder, center fielder, right fielder, you win for that position and not just outfield. And he won it for center field last year. Should be a crowded race this year. He's going to have competition with Jackie Bradley and Kevin Pillar and that Mike Trout guy.
He's not too bad, is he?
Kevin Cash has called him one of the best players in all of baseball. Kiermaier. That's a strike.
Take another look at those signs we were talking about between the second baseman and shortstop, and I believe it's Pedroia giving the signs, and if his mouth goes open, that means that Bogarts has it. If his mouth stays closed, that means he has it. Pedroia does. My guess is it'll be open mouth, and Bogarts will be covering with the left-hander at the plate. Yeah, it's Bogarts covering. Pedroia's giving him.
Flared foul. Shaw over to give it a look, but off into the stands.
You know, which makes sense, of course, because Dustin's been around the league a long time. He knows the pitches better. He knows the hitters better, and he's responsible for giving the signs. Open mouth, you got it. Closed mouth means me, I got it. Take one more look at this pitch. If it's an 0-2 pitch, but things should not change. Pedroia is going to pick up the sign first from the catcher and then give the sign to Bogarts. Bogarts has got it.
Runner holding and swung on and missed, spun him around and struck out Kevin Kiermaier, and they're 2 away.
A good job there by Hembree. It looks like a slider that's going to be down, actually out of the strike zone, and picks up the strikeout. So he's had 2 since coming in the ball game tonight.
Lex is making a pledge to strikeout hunger. For every strikeout by a Red Sox pitcher this season, Lexus donates $50 to the Greater Boston Food Bank. Scoreless here in the second inning. Miller at first base. Kurt Casale, the catcher, will now bat. He's the number 9 hitter. Hitting just 150, no homers.
And again, that chance of running with 2 outs, trying to get in scoring position for Miller. He's been stuck at first base now for 2 outs.
Just a little bit low. Started him off with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Casale, a right-hand hitting catcher out of New Canaan, Connecticut. Then he went on to Vanderbilt University.
See Hannigan checking first base, make sure the runner is not peeking in.
1-1.
Hannigan will check that runner at first base, close those legs up so he can't see the sign, and then put the signs down. This may be a throw to first. We'll see. It is. And that's one way to avoid, you know how we talk about runners all the time peeking in to see if they can see a breaking ball, because that's when they like to run. Well, Hannigan's got the answer for that. He'll check out the runner, make sure he's closed up that the 5-hole.
2 down in the 1-1. Runner staying put and a strike. So Hembree gets ahead in the count. He struck out the last man he faced in the first inning. Just struck out Kiermaier. Now trying to put away Casale.
It's like another throw to first, and it is. Anytime you see that catcher and that thumb comes out, flip to the side, it usually means a throw to first base. It's going to be a slider away.
1-2, and he thought about it, but he stayed away from it. 2-2. Embry taking his time, and now the 2-2 runner does take off, and that's in there for strike 3. He struck him out. Back-to-back Ks to end the inning and strand the runner. Jordan's Furniture. If the Sox and Yankees meet in the league championship for the pennant, you could win free furniture and mattresses. It's pennant fever going on right now. Go Sox. And the Red Sox coming up to bat here in the bottom of the second inning. Sox have not been up to hit for 16 minutes. It's been a little while. David Ortiz will lead things off. Then Henry Ramirez and Travis Shaw against Drew Smyly.
About this defense, Dave, you got Logan Forsythe, the second baseman in Cambridge, and Brad Miller way out there also.
0-2 on David. He's been up a couple of times on the homestand in the ninth inning, with the whole ballpark sitting on his shoulders, hoping for some big poppy magic. Yesterday, 2 outs, Sox down 4-3. David took a high third strike, called out on a strike to end the ball game. The 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's hit 49 career home runs against Tampa Bay. Tried to hold up. It was inside. He did hold up. No, he didn't. They appeal to the third base umpire, Fairchild, and he rings him up.
Well, it's going to be Fairchild that rings him up, but to me, the pitch looked like a good pitch. It was a changeup. I thought hit the inside part of the plate. Let's look at the pitch. No, it's not a changeup. It looks like a breaking ball that didn't do very much, but stayed inside. Now let's take a look at the swing and see if David did go.
Ooh, that is very, very close.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Fairchild thought otherwise. Third strikeout for Smiley.
You know, it's awfully tough for a guy like Ortiz to check his swing because he generates so much power.
So one away for Hanley Ramirez. Hanley went 2 for 4 with an RBI single in the ninth yesterday and Patriots Day to make it 4-3. And he did get the game to David Ortiz. Hitting .306. Pops that one. That'll twist foul out of play.
They play pretty much the same type of defense against Hanley as they did against Dustin Pedroia, with the exception Desmond Jennings is deeper in left field, but the shortstop and second and third baseman, excuse me, very, very close. And Longoria right on the line.
Looks like Hanley has X-ray vision.
Well, if he hit that spot, he'd probably have a double.
Foul down the right field line. In his first season as an everyday first baseman, it's 12 games, but Hanley has not committed an error. He did not commit an error in spring training. So far, it's gone very, very well. And he's looked more comfortable at that position every day. Flied well to right field, backing up Souza, but plenty of room. 2 down. Time now to see who's been driving the ball, presented by Toyo Tires. Travis Shaw in his current 6-game hitting streak, sitting .400 in it with a home run and 6 RBIs. Toyo Tires is the official tire of the Boston Red Sox. Keeps on hitting. He was 2 for 4 with an RBI in the ninth inning yesterday that made it 4-2. He's at third base. Chris Young at left will follow him if given the opportunity. No score, second inning. And we're likely to see Brock Holt back in the lineup after a few days off tomorrow. Sox have missed his energy and a lot of the other goods that he brings into the dirt. Red Sox are 6-6. They wound up splitting the series with Toronto. And are now 3-4 on the homestand. Red Sox have unfortunately wasted a couple of superb pitching performances by Stephen Wright and Clay Buchholz. That's a strike.
Outside to inside now with 2 strikes. We just showed you the infield positioning. Now Longoria will move back to deep shortstop. Now no bunt possible now with 2 strikes.
Fly ball centered field. Kiermaier started back, and now he's right where he needs to be to put it away. And the Red Sox are still looking for the first base runner. No score after 2. Red Sox baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Back at Fenway, no score. We go to the third inning. We're delighted to bring in Alex Spear of the Boston Globe, who joins us every once in a while, but not nearly enough here on NESN. Great to see you, Alex.
Good to see you guys as well. Thanks for having me up.
Well, the circumstances, I think, force us into discussing what might happen, and we have no idea if there's anything up with Joe Kelly, who was forced out of the game after 2/3 of an inning. But what might happen if there is something up with Joe, and we hope to find out during the course of the game. What do you speculate as far as the move the Red Sox could make if Kelly winds up being injured, perhaps?
Well, you would presume that there are any of three options down in Pawtucket right now. Three guys who are on the 40-man roster. Starting with Henry Owens. We all know Henry from his audition of about a dozen starts at the end of last year. He's off to a very good start in Pawtucket. Through 3 starts, he has an ERA of 1 flat with 23 strikeouts and 10 walks in 18 innings. The 10 walks are a little bit of an issue for him, obviously, since control has always been his bugaboo.
Forsythe lines that one to right, but Mookie was playing in a bit. He puts it away for the first out here in the third inning. So obviously Henry would be option number 1. And again, to restate this, and can't say it emphatically enough, we don't know anything if there's anything up with Joe, because he came out of a game last September because of tightness in that shoulder. And, you know, he's obviously bounced back and pitched very well since.
Sure, absolutely. Although we should also recall that when he came out of that game early, he also missed the rest of the season.
Right.
So that's the reason why you let the wheels kind of turn, and you do start to think, well, if Kelly is sidelined, what are the internal options? And so Owens would seem to be the most likely guy to be called up. His fastball command has still been spotty. He's been missing the zone with it, which is a little bit of an issue. You know, Jerry, better than anyone, how uncomfortable it can be to call up a guy where you don't know he can locate his fastball for strikes, let alone command it. But he's been punching guys out and getting weak contact. So that's, and moreover, he pitched yesterday, so he would be able to pitch on Kelly's turn.
Well, it's just the kind of game right now when you have a starter that you lose very early. Henry just gets called up today. I think his time for pitches at the AAA level this year was 24, so you don't expect him to go more than a couple of innings probably. It's one that can run through your bullpen very quickly. Yeah,
there are going to be some wheels spinning. If depending on what happens coming out of this game, you could see if there's a DL move.
Morrison a high fly to right field, but it hangs up there. Mookie's there, along with Jackie Bradley, and Mookie makes the catch. Actually, Jackie made the play. How about that? Some confusion in the outfield.
Yeah, a little miscommunication. It looks like you can see Mookie right there, but I think Jackie calls for it. Once Jackie calls for it, Mookie backs off. Then he's not sure if Bradley's going to make the play. But center fielder has take charge on that play, and if he makes the call, it's his ball.
Especially on his birthday.
That's right.
That's right. Jackie Bradley, 26.
There's his cupcake.
And but 2 down for Longoria.
Beyond Owens, Brian Johnson is also at an interesting place. He is someone who throws his fastball for strikes.
High fly ball. That one ripped very, very deep in the left center. Back goes Bradley looking at the wall, and it's off the green. And Longoria will trot into second base with a double. And almost hit it out of here.
Yeah, right now the breeze not blowing at all, so there was no effect on that baseball. That almost got out of the ballpark. Fastball, as you can see right there, right down Broadway, right down the heart of the plate. And Longoria takes it high off that left field wall for the 2-out double to get himself in a scoring position. That did not miss a home run by very much.
He now has a 15-game Fenway Park hitting streak.
And this may be getting to exactly what you were talking about with Embry isn't someone who's accustomed to pitching this deep into games. So, you know, whereas you saw some of the good swing and miss stuff on both the slider and the fastball in those earlier couple of innings, this is a time when you might find a guy hitting fumes, riding on fumes a little bit as he tries to stretch out.
I'll send up Corey Dickerson, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout in the first inning. And he, in fact, was the last man that Joe Kelly faced as we chat with Alex Spear of the Boston Globe on a night where Kelly has had to exit very quickly after just 2/3 of an inning. And not because he was getting knocked around. Longoria at second base, and he goes after the first pitch and pops it up on the infield. And Hembree will get out of this with no harm done. Alex, thanks so much. Always great to see you.
Thanks, guys. Good to see you both.
Thanks,
Alex Spear, the Boston Globe, and we remain scoreless here at Fenway after 2.5. From improving your diet to the latest cancer treatments, learn all about stomach disease this month from experts at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. Visit bidmc.org/yourhealth. Bottom of the third coming up. Red Sox coming to bat. It'll be Young, Hannigan, Bradley, the birthday boy, up against Drew Smyly. And Red Sox just looking for a base runner. It's been 6 up and 6 down. Young hoping to get started. 2 for 15 on the season. And he looks at a strike. Now, Smiley's a strike thrower. Got that tailing fastball. A little cutter he uses to right-handers. Curve, and he's got that split change.
Was that tailing fastball, that last pitch going up and away from Young.
Smyly has modeled parts of his pitching style after fellow left-hander Cliff Lee. Both from Arkansas. They both have the same agent. It's an agent who did very well on one Cliff Lee.
Yes, he did. I bet he's got a very nice house.
At least one. Good for him. 3-2. And he let it go for ball 4. So the Sox have a base runner. DraftKings is the official one-day fantasy baseball partner of the Red Sox. Experience the thrill of playing on DraftKings right now. Play free daily using the promo code NESSON at DraftKings.com. Ryan Hannigan next.
One thing you have to be careful about at first base is Smyly has an outstanding move to first base. He's a pickoff master. 11 pickoffs since 2014. So you got to be very, very careful over there.
Young still runs well. Hannigan a good contact man.
Now, Hannigan's the type of guy that you can play hit and run with because he can move the ball around the field, and that is a possibility with this combination of Young, the left-handed pitcher, and Hannigan at the plate.
He takes a strike. Jackie Bradley on deck. Jackie turning 26 years old today. And a 1-1 from the left-hander. A little bit high.
And if they're going to put a play on, they'd probably put it on right now. 2 ball and 1 strike. Long look down by Hannigan at Butterfield.
Scoreless into the 3rd inning. Young at first, nobody out. He would not offer. Good take there.
Yeah, last few pitches all away from Hannigan, up and away.
So 3-1 on Ryan. And the 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed.
It's a good swing by Hannigan. He got a pitch he wanted. You know, 3 balls, 1 strike, that counts in his favor. So he's looking fastball and he's looking middle in, and that's exactly what he gets. But right underneath the fastball that time, running the count to 3-2 now.
(3-2) runner goes, and it's inside for ball 4. Let's get out of Gary.
Much love as we give Jackie Bradley Jr. defensively. It's actually offense which gives him the most joy of making a big play. This on his 26th birthday. I asked Jackie, all right, rank these in order of pure joy to, you know, not as joyful. Scoring a run, saving a run defensively, or hitting a run in. And he had a simmer on it for a little bit, but surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, hitting a run in. Now, of course, this isn't like the bottom of the 9th game-winning hit. Just your run-of-the-mill 5th inning game, and he said hitting a run in tops, scoring a run second, and then saving a run defensively was actually third. When it comes to defense, though, I asked him, do you like hosing a guy down with a howitzer that's attached to your shoulder or making a diving catch? He said, yeah, there's nothing better than throwing a guy out. Diving, making a play like that, that comes natural for Jackie. So hopefully he gives us any number of those with this at-bat.
Yeah, he did one of those yesterday. A terrific diving catch in the outfield when the game was 1-0. Gary, thank you. 1-0. Now 1-0 the count here, and the Red Sox trying to get on the board here. Base hit would make it 1-0 with Young and Hannigan on. Mookie Betts would follow. So Smiley in a little bit of trouble for the first time tonight. And a ball downstairs.
You probably won't see it now, but I kind of expected a possible bunt in this situation only because Bradley, lefty against lefties, 0 for 7 in his career against Smiley. And the Red Sox would like to get a jump on this Tampa club who's having trouble scoring runs. But now 2-0, I'm sure Bradley has the green light to swing.
And here it comes. He does swing, and he foul tips to the mitt.
Yeah, didn't pick a good pitch either. That ball was down out of the strike zone. So instead of 3-0, now it's 2-1. We'll see now if they switch off and go maybe to a bunt. We'll see. Longoria inspecting that possibility at third base.
Up the middle for a base hit. Young touches third, and they're going to put on the brakes, and that's going to load up the bases. So they're all going to be filled up with a base hit by JBJ, loaded up for Mookie Betts.
Now he got a much better pitch that time. He swung at a bad pitch on the 2-0 count, but 2-1. He gets a nice fastball to work on, and you know this is a smart move at third base, holding up Young. There's nobody out in the inning, and you don't want to make that first out at home play. You got a chance for a big inning with the top of the lineup coming up. And also Kiermaier, one of the best center fielders in baseball.
Yep. Makes all the sense in the world. Well, here's Mookie. He struck out in the first. He's been up and down these first 12 games. 9 for 31 on the homestand, and he has yet to walk on it over the first 7 games of this homestand. He checks, it's in the dirt, it's down low for ball 1. This is the first time this season he has the bases loaded, but he's 4 for 9 in his career with Young at third, Hannigan at second, and Jackie at first. 1-1.
And it completely fooled him there. You know, Mookie gets ahead 1-0, and he's thinking fastball instead. They pull a string on him. They throw him the changeup down and away.
Grounded to third base. Coming home with that. Out there, and that's all they get. Young is cut down at the plate on the force play. Now number 1.
And Longoria likes to come home. He decides not to go for 2, which he probably would not have got with Betts going down the first base line. So he comes home even with nobody out to get that lead runner. So the Red Sox still have the bases loaded. But I don't think he would have got a double play with Betts going down the first base line. So the wise move was by Longoria to come to the plate.
Well, John Farrell came out, and now he's going back down the dugout steps, but he was thinking about a challenge on something there. The possibility that maybe the catcher didn't touch home plate, but he decided not to challenge it. So they're loaded up with 1 down for Dustin Pedroia. And Petey trying to break through against a pitcher he is 2 for 14 against. So now it's Hannigan at third, Bradley at second, Betts at first base. Red Sox trying to break through here against the Rays. The 1-0. Line foul. He hit that one sharply.
Out in front of a changeup that time was Pedroia.
He sent them scurrying over there in that dugout. There's Chris Archer. Just got out of the way. A wicked liner.
The guy's moving everywhere in that dugout.
1 ball, 1 strike. And Smiley will step off. Dustin has reached base in every game he's played in this season, all 11. A long look by Smiley. Now he's ready in the 1-1. Fouled away. 1-2. Pedroia inspecting his bat, and he cracked it, so he's off to get a new one. Pedroia yesterday scored his 777th run and passed the great Johnny Pesky for 10th in club history in runs scored. So he's starting to move up the charts in a number of categories too.
Long time member of the Red Sox, and as you mentioned, Dave, moving up the charts in a lot of categories.
1-2 coming. Fouled back. Boy, he took a rip. He got a fastball, Jared. He had a cut.
He certainly did. You know, he's seen fastball change, and fastball again, and this one was up in the zone. First fastball he saw was down low, about knee high. That one about letter high, and he did have a good swing at it.
Xander Bogaerts would be next. Only 1 away, and the bases are loaded. Red Sox trying to strike here in the 3rd inning. He let that one go. 2-2. The Red Sox are doing a very good job in this inning of driving up the pitch count, but they want a lot more than that. This is a golden chance.
Yeah, if nobody out with bases loaded, you got to put some crooked numbers up on the board. 1 out now, obviously.
Two and 2. And Dustin asking for time, and he gets it from Jim Joyce. Not every game is won and lost in the 8th and 9th innings. You can win a game in the 3rd inning too with a big inning. Here's the 2-2 and a trickler foul off third base, turning into a terrific at bat for Dustin.
He has not seen 2 fastballs in a row in this at bat. It's been followed by fastball's been followed by either a changeup, a cutter.
Really making Smiley work. More often than not, you're going to get a strike from this guy. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball right to the shortstop. Miller to Forsythe on to first. They turn the double play. The Red Sox load him up and do not score. After 3, still 0-0 at Fenway.
Way, Red Sox had a great opportunity, and you know, Dave, this is where the new rule for me takes effect. If you see the shortstop right there, how he double clutched, I thought Mookie Betts, with the old rules, would have had a chance to get in there, knock the second baseman down, and have a chance to at least get a run on that. Now, I'm not making excuses for leaving the bases loaded, but in my opinion, Betts has to go straight in there and not take out the second baseman. Now watch the double clutch. You see the double clutch? And with Betts' speed getting down there, if it's the old rules, you know, instead of the new rules, he's got a chance to take that guy out.
Yep.
That's why I don't like it.
Got to be a bona fide slide defined as making contact with the ground ahead of the base, being in position to reach the base with a hand or foot and remain on it, and sliding within reach of the base without changing the path to initiate contact with the fielder. That's the new rule.
Yeah, and I'm not making excuse. It's not an excuse for the Red Sox not scoring. I'm just trying to point out how the new rule affects a base runner going into second base.
And of course, the Red Sox loading him up and failing to score. The looper on the infield, and Pedroia will haul that in to put away Jennings. One man out here in the fourth, so it was a golden chance to score. You don't get many like that. Robbie Ross is now throwing in the bullpen, so he begins to loosen up. Hembree had to come on and relieve Joe Kelly, who had to depart after 2/3 of an inning. We have not been told why yet. There have been 2 occasions in the last 2 years where Joe has been forced out of a game because of a tweak or tightness or fatigue in the shoulder. As Alex Spears said, when it was September 15 of last year, he missed the rest of the season, but there were only about 2.5 weeks left in the season. So that was more of a shutdown than anything else. Precautionary. We'll see what happens tonight. Brad Miller here. He singled his first time up, 1 for 1. Rays team that has scored only 34 runs. That's the fewest they've ever scored in their first 12 games of a season. Hembree pouring in strikes here.
Yeah, another good curveball by Hembree right to the outside part of the plate. Good pitch to Miller.
Here's the 0-2. He chops a foul backward.
Look back at the beginning of this game for Red Sox pitchers, and for Joe Kelly, had to leave the ball game, and we don't know the reason yet why, but Hembree had to come in, threw his warm-up tosses, and has pitched very well. Had a couple of strikeouts back in the second, and he got Kiermaier, and then got Casale to end the inning. So he's done a nice job coming in when he probably didn't expect at all to be in the ball game.
I'm sure it was a shock. Fouled back by Miller. It could wind up giving the Red Sox a major lift as we look at his pitching line, which is brought to you by Ace Ticket. 38 pitches, 29 strikes. That's 76%. Not too shabby.
Yeah, like a calculator.
I do what I can, man, with that Syracuse education. The 0-2. Well, it has been announced why Joe Kelly had to leave the game. A right shoulder impingement is what they're calling it.
Yeah, we could tell it was something with the shoulder, the way he kind of pulled back with that shoulder. So hopefully it's nothing too serious for Joe.
There's a key man in that rotation. Swung on and fouled back. Remembering that he threw 116 pitches in his last start in 5 innings. And then was throwing a lot of off-speed stuff tonight out of the gate. Well, you typically expect Joe to be firing the fastball at 95 and above. Hembree now at 40 pitches. Foul tipped into the mitt. Well, he blew that one by him.
Now Hembree again, this time the fastball at about 94 miles an hour inside part of the plate. You've got to swing at it. The foul tip goes right in the glove of Hannigan. So 3 strikeouts now for Hembree since he's been in. And probably, I would say, facing his last inning here for the Red Sox, with Robbie Ross throwing in that Red Sox bullpen.
So this one's going to be almost all hands on deck tonight out of the Red Sox bullpen. Here's Souza. 0 for 1 with a fly out. Nothing game, 4th inning. And in tight for a ball.
Well, another look at the starting defense for the Red Sox tonight. The only change right on the mound, number 37, Heath Hembree, replacing Joe Kelly as Bradley slides a little bit to the opposite field.
Hembree's 2-0 pitch. Just a little bit low. He's been sharp though. The 3-0 pitch. He goes after it. He pops it up. Bogart's backpedaling out, doing the breaststroke. He's under it and makes the catch to retire the side. They go 1-2-3. Hembree with a big pickup. No score. 4th inning. Mason extra innings live after the game. TC Steve Lyons will bring you clubhouse reaction from John Farrell. You'll have an injury update too on Joe Kelly. Whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but WB Mason? It's been a big lift from Heath Hembree tonight as we remain scoreless. Bogarts goes up the middle with a ground ball, but Forsythe was right there to set him down on one pitch. And right now there's no activity in the bullpen, and it looks like Hembree may go back out there.
Well, we'll see. You know, Hembree's still on the bench. Now, this is obviously taxing him a little bit at this point. He's still throwing good. If Ross gets up the throw with 2 outs in the inning, that means Ross is coming in. He's just sitting down right now, but we'll see if he gets back up the throw once 2 are out.
So far, it's been a pretty heavy load for Hembree as Big Papi takes a strike. David was caught looking at a 3rd strike in the 2nd inning. Now sitting at 506 home runs. He hit number 500 at Tampa Bay, you recall, and that's down low.
That coming off Matt Moore. On a breaking ball like
499 and 500 off him.
Yes. And a breaking ball similar to that last one to him.
1-1 on David. Got under that one and popped it a mile in the air. The catcher Casale over to give it a look, but can't get to it in the box seats. Jason Aldean will be returning to Fenway Park on September 9th, part of the Plainridge Park Casino Fenway Concert Series. He's co-headlining with Kid Rock. Tickets go on sale Friday, April 22nd at 10 a.m. Up top again, 2-2 on Ortiz. David's next RBI will tie the Hall of Famer Tony Perez for 26th on the all-time list. Fouled it off the catcher.
Well, home run number 500 as we look back at it. Matt Moore breaking ball down and in, and David Ortiz lifting it down at the drop. Nothing cheap about that one.
No, sir. He hasn't had many that you could refer to as cheap.
No.
Moore is here. He's coming off a wonderful pitching performance, but we will not see him in this series. Waved at and missed, and David fans. So he strikes out for the second time, 2 away.
Yeah, it's a good pitch. Looks like a cut fastball that time. You can see the little cut right here at the end, and it breaks right off the outside part of the plate. It looks straight, and then at the last minute, it just cuts a little bit, and that's the difference between contact and no contact.
Well, there's Ross throwing after that second out, as you predicted, Jerry, so he's going to come on. Hembree certainly did enough. He did his job tonight.
He certainly did. And very difficult coming in the first inning when you just finished walking out to the bullpen.
Hanley Ramirez 0 for 1. He takes a ball. I mean, under those situations where you're not anticipating, I mean, mentally you're nowhere near being in the game, and then all of a sudden you're in the game. And to pitch like Heath did, I mean, you're a hero in your clubhouse.
Yeah, and you got to remember too, you know, even at the minor league level, he's not a long man. I mean, you know, he's a guy that comes in later on in the ball game.
The 1-1 pitch, crack foul.
Look back at some of the strikeouts tonight for Hembree. He got a couple right there. He gets Jennings to strike out. Breaking ball to Kiermaier. That's another slider down and in. Another slider there for a strikeout. And then throws the fastball right by Miller.
So 3 1/3 with 4 strikeouts. Didn't walk anybody and threw a high number of strikes. It's a job well done. Swing and a miss, and down goes Hanley. 1, 2, 3 go the Red Sox. Smiley ties him up. We go to the 5th. 0-0. Honoring the '86 Red Sox season. In their 13th game in 1986, the Red Sox would lose to Detroit 5-4. Jim Rice had 3 hits, though, including a home run for the Red Sox. And Robbie Ross is on to do the pitching, as that one is flicked foul by Kiermaier to get the 5th inning underway. Brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. A closer look at Robbie so far through 4 appearances. And we'll see how long he goes after Hembree went 3 1/3 innings, forced into action and pitched really well. Kiermaier's 0 for 1. He struck out in second. Softly rolled to Dustin Pedroia, who gets him. Ace Ticket is Boston's trusted source for Red Sox tickets, with the best seats at the lowest prices, all with a 200% guarantee. Treat yourself or someone you may love by visiting aceticket.com or by calling 1-800-MY-SEATS. I wanted to read that with a little romantic flair to it, Remdog.
It touched me. It really did. It touched me.
You look touched. Casale tries to check and he fouls it back. He struck out in the 2nd inning. Very well pitched game to this point. Certainly yesterday's was for the balance of the day. Behind Clay Buchholz, really had an artistic touch on it yesterday, which, you know, when Clay's going well, it is like watching a guy paint, you know. In and out, up and down.
Yeah, he's got that tremendous touch and feel with all his pitches. You know, his changeup, his cutter, his 2-seamer, his fastball. Can mix them all up.
In there for strike 3, pinned on the inside edge.
Casale's going down twice tonight on breaking balls, once by Hembree, and now he gets the left-hander Robbie Ross, and Ross puts him away with a breaking ball. There's the slider going inside and just above the knees. Good job by Hannigan. See him pull that ball back up a little bit. That presentation for the umpire.
Good framing catchers the Red Sox have with Vasquez and Ryan Hannigan. Wouldn't you agree?
Agree 100%.
Red Sox pitchers have struck out 6 Rays. Here's Forsythe. He's walked in line to right.
Sorry, Dave. You got Robbie Ross in now, whose pitch count high this year, 46. He did that against Baltimore.
Fouled back out of play. Forsythe, a good fastball hitter, but hitting just .214. He goes up the middle for a base hit. So that's a 2-out single for the leadoff man.
Yeah, a little too good a pitch by Robbie Ross there on the 0-2 count. I'm sure he wanted to do something different with that. Instead he leaves the fastball out over the plate 0-2, and Forsythe able to drive it up the middle for the base hit.
Fans, stay tuned following this half inning for stats, facts, and fantasy numbers from around Major League Baseball. In steps Logan Morrison, who has grounded out to second and fly to center. Morrison, born in Kansas City, he grew up idolizing George Brett, just like every other kid.
I think everybody did. I did, and I was a player.
You did, even as a player. You idolized George Brett.
Yeah, I loved the way he played the game. I didn't like playing against him, but I loved the way he played the game.
Morrison wore his number 5 to honor him as he flicks that one foul. So what's that like when you're in the big leagues? I mean, you're a major leaguer yourself. You played in the All-Star game, and you had George Brett. You're like, that's George Brett.
I was in the big leagues, but I was not George Brett. I mean, this guy was phenomenal. I mean, he played the game hard all the time. I mean, he played to win all the time, maximum effort. You just had to admire a guy like that, and a very talented player.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, flirted with 400.
That's all.
390. He could rake. Morrison cuts and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Longoria on deck. A scoreless game in the 5th. Tampa Bay 3 hits. Sox only have 1, but the Red Sox did have the bases loaded but failed to score. 2-2.
Yeah, it's amazing, Dave, how you talk about players on, respecting players on the other team. We have a guy at second base, Pedroia, who the whole league respects him, just the way he goes about his business. And that's really the ultimate compliment when you have that respect from the opposition.
He's a player's player. No doubt about it. 2-2 and a high fly left center, twisting, racing back. Jackie Bradley on the run. He has it right in front of the scores. So 1 man is left. We are halfway through here at Fenway, and it's a 0-0 game. Bottom of the 5th inning, just getting started. Travis Shaw stepping in. He's 0 for 1 with a fly to center. We have no score. Chris Young, Ryan Hannigan also set to bat in this inning against Drew Smyly. Been very tough to hit. And he buckled a bit in the 3rd inning, but he never did break after he walked the first 2 batters, gave up a single to Jackie Bradley to load the bases. But then Mookie Betts hit a ground ball to 3rd. There was a force at home. And then moments later, Dustin Pedroia would hit into a 6-4-3 double play to retire the side.
And this is kind of what Smyly does to the Red Sox, right? I mean, he's always had tremendous success. As a matter of fact, he's had great success against the American League East. Against the East in his career, he's 9-2 with a 1.97 ERA.
Foul tipped into the mid. He turns around to give it a look, but down he goes on strikes. Well, time now for a Dunkin' Donuts poll question. And here it is. Should there be a time limit on replay reviews? Text 1 for yes, 2 for no. Text your answer to 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. Visit NESN.com/terms for the terms and privacy policy. Jerry, I would like to see a time limit. Like through the first 7 innings of the game, it's something like 2 minutes. Max it out at 2 minutes, because some of these reviews are going from, the way I'm looking at it, way too long.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Dave. I'll go a little bit longer than you. I'll say 3 minutes. If you can't get it in 3 minutes, maybe stay with the call on the field. But I've talked about it before. I love the college football system. Whatever system they have, those replays come down and those decisions come down very, very quickly. And I don't know if that's possible in baseball, but
I think they just hovered too long there in New York. He tried to check his swing, but he went, according to the first base umpire, and that will do it for Young. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Smiley.
yeah, Smiley's got 4 in a row now. That's a curveball that time, completely fooling Young. As they check at first base, and of course Basner, the first base umpire, giving the out sign.
Now look at this. His last 4 games against the Red Sox, you touched on this, in 23 innings, 31 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Certainly not overpowering, but does a great job mixing up his pitches.
He struck out 7 tonight. Hannigan trying to break him up now. Smiley lost the plate a little bit in the 3rd inning with those back-to-back walks, but the Red Sox were unable to cash in. Scoreless in the 5th. Yeah, I'd like to see a time limit on the replays for the first 7 innings, but after the 7th inning, maybe no time limit at all.
Now the whole idea, right, of replay is to get the play right, and I'm with you. I think they could get it right a little bit sooner than what they do, but I also agree in the last 3 innings, make sure you get it right, because that's a critical time in the ball game.
2-1, swing and a miss.
Of course, a replay in the first inning could be as important as one late in the game too.
No, true enough. And we were talking earlier about you can win a game in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd inning. Sometimes you get enough runs and get just enough runs in the end. Can be just as big as anything in the 7th, 8th, or 9th. Foul back. Smiley was one of 3 players the Rays got from the Tigers in the trade for David Price. And he was largely viewed as the pitcher who was going to replace Price at Tampa Bay. He said those are very big shoes. He's David Price. He's awesome to watch, but the Rays made the move, so obviously they see something in me. David will be pitching on Thursday afternoon at 1:35 here at Fenway. And again, hanging in there.
Very shallow out in right field and center field now with 2 strikes on Hannigan. They have kind of swung over a little bit and came in about 5 or 6 steps in both spots, center field and right field. The big gap there is in obviously left center for Hannigan.
Loop toward left field, but Jennings is right there, and it's a 1-2-3 inning once again for the Red Sox. After 5, it's a 0-0 contest. Robbie Ross back out there for his second inning out of the bullpen as we go to the top half of the 6th inning. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien with you. Gary Streisky alongside as well as Evan Longoria leads off in what has been a pitcher's duel. There's been 3 different Red Sox pitchers, only one for Tampa Bay. Smiley has 1 hit the Sox. Tampa Bay, however, with only 3 hits. Longoria has one of those, a double in the 3rd inning. He's also taken ball 4. Happy to get the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in their batting order. Punch foul out of play. Think Energy, powering Fenway, and the smart choice to power your home. Visit thinkenergy.com to enroll today. .44 degrees inside the ballpark, and thus the blankets. It's a good choice. Chopper back to the hill, and Ross will fire. A little high, safe. That took Hanley off the bag. We'll see if the Red Sox want to challenge this play.
Well, they're going to take a look at it. They're going to look back in the room and let Torey Lovullo know if it should be challengeable enough. And it looks like they are going to go for the challenge. Did Hanley get the foot back? Yeah, he did. Looks like he got the foot back on the bag.
Now this shouldn't take very long.
It really shouldn't. Now, what throws Robbie Ross off, as we look at the tail end of this play, Hanley clearly off there, but does he get it on? It looks like he does. So I think the Red Sox will win this challenge. But what throws Ross off is the fact that when he made the catch, he had to climb back uphill on the mound, and that's one of the reasons the throw, I believe, went high.
Now they're showing it up on the big board, and everybody agrees this should not take very long.
That's pretty nifty work by Hanley Ramirez at first base, too, to come off the bag and find that bag with his foot before Longoria got there. It's Hanley coming off. He comes back down, touches the ground, then the bag, and then the foot comes on. So I think this is going to be an out. I'd be stunned if it was not an out.
We've been stunned before, though.
Yeah, we have.
But I would agree with you that this should be a no-brainer. This should be a very quick decision. And they should reverse the call, and it is going to be quick. And he is out. Well done by Hanley over there at first base.
Yeah, continues to play a very nice first base. Now, it would have been easy for him to panic on that play right there, but he did not. He caught the ball, came down, touched the ground, then quickly got the foot back on the bag. That's his shortstop instincts right there, Dave.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And I agree with you too that one of the things that's been impressive about his first base play is he doesn't panic.
Right.
And you would expect the guys who hadn't played there before to be panicking on every other play. It's not been the case, and Brian Butterfield has a lot to be proud of. The man from Maine. Dickerson cuts through that. One of the great infield instructors. Red Sox very fortunate to have him. By the way, an off the charts New England Patriots fan.
Oh, loves Bill Belichick.
And Michigan. Big rip by Dickerson, who was struck out and popped up to short.
By the way, that last replay took 1 minute and 13 seconds, and we made it in about 5 seconds.
I think we're pushing them along, Remdog. I really do. That's our poll question tonight. Somebody heard about it. No score, 6th inning.
Travis Shaw to the second base side of the bag.
Dickerson with a good pop in the bat. He hit 10 home runs in 65 games last year. Foul ball at the plate. Again, Robbie Ross getting that fastball 94-95 up there.
So far, very good velocity, very good location.
Red Sox, if you're just joining us, forced into using the bullpen in the very first inning because Joe Kelly went out with an impingement in his right shoulder. That's what we were eventually told. Cut on and missed. Down he goes. 2 up and 2 down in the 6th inning. Well, we found out what was up with Joe Kelly. Unfortunately, that impingement of the shoulder. People who have had it, and I mean just the rest of us, not athletes necessarily, will tell you that's a very painful thing to go through.
Yeah, let's hope it's not serious. And I think the Red Sox and Joe Kelly may have a better idea tomorrow, just how bad it might be or not so bad. I think, they let it calm down overnight, see what the reaction is in the morning, and get checked out tomorrow by the doctors. And, hopefully for the Red Sox sake and his sake especially, it's not that serious.
Had to come out in the first inning tonight after just 2/3 of an inning. We could tell something was up because he wasn't bringing that big time fastball early on, and that was the giveaway. A little bit of a grimace there. It looked like Joe tried to talk his way into staying in the game. Long conversation with John Farrell. The Red Sox are very, very careful with stuff like that. They take no chances.
Farrell was doing most of the talking out there. It looked like Joe may have wanted to stay in and see if he loosened up a little bit, but John Farrell would have none of it.
Heath Hembree came out of the bullpen. He got a big strikeout with 2 men on base. And we have been scoreless all night. Hembree with a big lift out of that bullpen. As you said, he's not a long guy. Up top for a ball. Three and 1 on Jennings, who's hit 1 home run this season. 0 for 2 tonight. It's a bullet, but this one foul up into the top deck down the line. MLB.TV Premium is everything you've come to expect and more. You can watch every out-of-market game on all 30 teams in true high definition. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Desmond Jennings took a swing on a 3-1 fastball, and that's where you want to foul it off if you're going to foul it off. To hook it foul, because 3-1, he's looking to take the ball out of the ballpark, and he was not behind that. He was way out in front of it and pulled it in the foul territory. But that's where you want to see it go, not flared to the opposite field foul.
Nobody on base and spoiled again. Jennings was their 2009 minor leaguer of the year. A lot of upside for him. He can really run, and yet he's failed to emerge as a star in the big leagues, mainly because of injury. He appeared in only 28 games last year because of a knee injury. Brad Miller on deck. And the 3-2 from Ross. Liner scooped up. Shaw guns and gets him. He continues to handle that hot corner very smoothly. That's a 1-2-3 inning. We're in the middle of the 6th. No score. Nation, there's a reason why the Red Sox and the rest of America run on Dunkin'. Dunkin's iced coffee, consistently smooth and delicious. The Boston Red Sox run on Dunkin'.
Well, Hanley Ramirez going into that Red Sox dugout. You know, Travis Shaw made a terrific play, but Hanley's play early in the inning was a very good play. And, you know, his teammates always trying to encourage him and keep him positive and let him know when he made a good play, getting congratulations all the way down the line.
High pop up into shallow right field by Jackie Bradley, who singled his first time up. Forsythe will haul that in. And let's go downstairs to Gary.
So, guys, a lot has been made last year and coming into this year with batters using those new axe handle bats. And it's something that Mookie Betts is now subscribing to. And the story as to why is actually kind of shocking. He says he adapted it around summer last year, June or July. And the axe handle bat itself is exactly what you're looking at. You'll see that the end of the bat, it doesn't have that circular nub that you would think of and envision with standard bats. And he was saying the reason he made the switch is because in May with the bats, he was swinging it so hard he was starting to blister on the pad of his left hand, the one that goes on the bottom of that bat, to a point where an entire piece of his palm actually tore off and blistered so badly. Ooh. Unbeknownst to anybody really in the media, he had to wear a pad every time, 2 pads over his batting glove, just to sort of comfort that hand each time he went to at bat. So during batting practice, he started integrating the axe handle bat into his repertoire, finally came comfortable enough with it that now he uses it full time during games. Not only does it help not to blister his hands, but he was saying a lot of the hamate bone talk that players deal with. It's supposed to decrease the stress on the hamate bone, and believe this or not, guys, he was also saying one of the benefits of the axe handle bats was that it allows batters to have quicker hands through the zone. I'm kind of surprised that that's even possible with Mookie, but apparently the axe handle bat's working for him.
Well, he tried to hold up there with it, and he's going to be out. So Mookie is 0 for 3 as he strikes out for the second time.
You know, John Farrell was asked today about Betts' struggles right now, and he says, well, he's getting pitched to, and that was a good example right in that at bat. Everything to Mookie was away, and we kind of expected that coming into the season because he's such a good inside fastball hitter. All pitches were away till the last pitch where he threw the breaking ball down to the dirt, and when Betts was down in the count, of course, he chased it.
So Mookie now 9 for 34 on this homestand. There are 2 down for Dustin Pedroia, who checks a swing, but that's a strike. He has struck out and hit into a double play.
That was an interesting story by Gary. The first person I think I saw use that type of handle was Dustin Pedroia. I don't know if he still is.
Pretty sure that Dustin did suffer a hamate bone injury, didn't he?
Yes.
Back in 07?
I think that's when he started to use it. Yes, he's also got one.
Smiley has 8 strikeouts, and he's tossing a 1-hitter. To the third baseman, Longoria, a Gold Glover. 1, 2, 3 go the Red Sox, and that's in 3 consecutive innings. Mason's Coffee Service, featuring the Carrot Coffee System with Green Mountain Coffee K-Cup pods. Order by 11:30 in the morning and get free same-day delivery. Who but W.B. Mason? To the 7th, no score. Red Sox and the Rays meeting for the first time this year. Dave O'Brien alongside Jerry Remy. Gary Streisky with us as well, and Brad Miller leading off the inning. He's gone 1 for 2 with a single. So it's 6-7-8 against the left-hander Ross. The third Red Sox pitcher to work in this one. And that's a strike. Tampa Bay with just 3 hits, but the Sox have only 1 against Smiley. So it feels like a typical Red Sox Rays game. A grinder. Although tonight it may only take 1 run to win it. The 1-2 pitch to Miller. Down he goes, hacking. He strikes out. 1 man away. Well, tonight, after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, we have highlights and reaction from Atlanta as the Celtics look to even up their series with the Hawks. NESN Sports Today, presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do.
And once again, Robbie Ross hitting his spot. I mean, you'll see Hannigan set up outside. He wants the fastball away. That's exactly where Ross gets it, just a little bit off the plate. But Miller has to chase it.
Brings up Steven Souza, the right fielder, and that one pounded in for strike 1. He's flied to left and popped to short. Other battles inside the division. Toronto has a 3-1 lead in the 6th inning on Baltimore. The Orioles leading Toronto by 2.5 and the Red Sox by 2.5. The Orioles have slowed down a little bit since the Red Sox beat them for the first time this season. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Down he goes. Boy, Ross is dealing.
Yeah, he has been very, very impressive. Henry and Ross in this game tonight. Ross has got a very live fastball, and I tell you, he's hitting the spots exactly where he wants to right now. That time up and onto the strike zone, gets the swing and miss. This has really been a well-pitched game.
Two away for Kiermaier, who has struck out and grounded out. Kiermaier, one of the better defensive outfielders in all of baseball. He robbed Manny Machado of a home run last August. Chris Archer was pitching, and Archer commissioned a painting of the catch, and he presented it to Kiermaier last winter. Fly to dead away, now left center. On the run, Bradley now stops and will make the catch. That's a 1-2-3. Ross really sharp tonight. Red Sox Baseball on NESN is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Cool night here at Fenway Park. No score. You see only 4 hits in the ball game. The Sox have but 1. Xander Bogaerts leads it off. Here we are in the last half of the 7th inning. Drew Smyly's pitching line brought to you by your Eastern Lexus dealers. Jerry, he's been outstanding.
He certainly has, and he's done a great job mixing up his pitches. See Bogaerts right there, a little bit late on the fastball on time at 91 miles an hour. So, you know, there's some confusion up there on just about what he's going to throw.
Xander Bogaerts really hit them last year. He batted .348 against Tampa Bay, one of his favorite teams. Tried to hold up. Did he go? That's a check swing on a changeup.
And there's no guarantee he's going to fastball on a 2-1 count either.
This will be pitch number 89, and he jammed him.
He did get a fastball inside.
So 2-2. David Ortiz on deck.
Wants the cutter.
And got him. Swing and a miss. That's 9 strikeouts for Smyly.
You know, one of the things, if you come to the ballpark, it might be interesting. I don't know. I find it interesting. When hitters come to the on-deck circle, they always do the same thing. 90% of the guys have the exact same routine every at-bat. And here you see Pedroia going through his thing. We try to sync it up as best we possibly could. Now we'll go into his practice swings.
It's like a drill team.
Yeah, it's, you know, I always get a kick out of that because I know, I would say 95% of the hitters, David Ortiz included, go to that on-deck circle and they do basically the same routine every single at-bat of the year. That's over 500 times for a lot of guys.
I think it's fascinating to watch. Luke fouled by Big Papi.
Everybody's got their own thing too. You know, it's weird.
Now David would love to have that swing back. He was none too pleased. He has struck out 2 times tonight. 0 for 2. Make it 3. Boy, this guy is tough tonight, and that's 10 strikeouts for Smyly.
You know he's tough when he gets David Ortiz to strike out 3 times. There's that cut fastball again. You can see it going down and away from Ortiz. David came into the game 5 for 11 with a home run against him. He has struck him out 3 times tonight. So he is really on target.
Well, they have 2 men now throwing in their bullpen, Webb and Cedeno. And the Red Sox are absolutely delighted to see that. Because right now they'd say anybody but Smyly, the way he's pitching. Hanley Ramirez now may only take 1 though. He's flied to right, struck out, and takes ball 1.
See the defense on Hanley. They've got Longoria pretty close to that line at third base. No runs in the ball game, trying to prevent a 2-out double, and they've swung the left fielder over. So Longoria's protected that left field line on the ground.
Hot shot, corralled by Longoria on the spin and gets him. Sox go 1, 2, 3. It's been the case every inning since the 4th inning. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By high quality Scion vehicles by Toyota. By Digital Federal Credit Union. See what DCU can save you. By your New England Ford dealers. Ford, go further. And by the great folks at Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Well, first-rate pitchers duel here as we go to the 8th inning. A 0-0 game. Just 4 total hits. Red Sox have certainly been frustrated tonight. Time now to check out the results of our Dunkin' Donuts poll question. And we asked you, should there be a time limit on replay reviews? And here are the results. And overwhelmingly, you say yes. And I said 2 minutes for the first 6 or 7 innings. And then in those late innings, no time limit on how long it can last.
Yeah, and well, the fans agree with you, Dave.
But tonight we've had one, and it lasted a little over a minute. 1 minute, 13 seconds. Junichi Tazawa coming out of the bullpen now for the 8th inning. And Casale taking one, low ball 1.
And John Farrell talking before the game. No Koji tonight. He's just used him quite often here in the early going, and it's time for just a day off, maybe 2.
Koji just never felt right with that splitter yesterday. You know, when he hits a batter and he walks guys, you know there's trouble. Across for a called strike with that curveball.
Yeah, back-to-back curveballs from Tazawa.
Koji did talk about the early hour in some of his comments after the game, how early the game started. Not blaming it necessarily, but he talked about it, and it may have thrown him off a little bit as that one is waved at and missed. And then he said, effectively, the next time I'm in there, I will do better.
Well, you know, I think that he has been worked awfully hard. You know, it's just the way that the things have unfolded during the course of a game where they've needed Uehara quite a bit. And the fact is, you know, maybe it was time. Maybe it's time for a little bit of R&R.
1-2 to Casale. Checked his swing and a pitch down into the dirt. They appeal, but no, says Toby Basner. No swing.
That's a split-fingered fastball right there from Tazawa. See Travis Shaw right on the line down at third base for the Red Sox in this 0-0 ball game, trying to prevent the double. They can swing Young over a little bit because any ground ball down that line Shaw should handle.
Casale has been struck out twice. Sox are piling up strikeouts tonight as that one is ripped foul. If he fans again, that'll be 10 Red Sox strikeouts by the pitching staff. Erasmo Ramirez throwing in the bullpen now for the Rays. Smiley has been nothing short of brilliant over 7, throwing a 1-hit shutout with 10 strikeouts. And he's walked 2. The Sox would love to see him out of the game. Cut on and missed. Down he goes on the splitter. Well, it's time now for a game break brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Here's our man TC. Tom, thank you very much. Here a 0-0 game. 1 man out. Top of the order now in Forsythe, who's gone 1 for 2 with a single. Actually started the day by walking. Joe Kelly walked him. In there for a strike. Joe also walked the number 3 batter, and you could tell something was amiss, and he would leave the ball game facing only 4 batters with a right shoulder impingement. Here's the 0-1 pitch. 1-1.
You know, Dave, one thing we've noticed, and it's happened quite a bit, is Tazawa has started off a lot of hitters with that curveball. And, you know, you wonder if the opposition at some point is going to say, you know, look, he's going to throw a breaking ball on that first pitch and look for it.
You can pretty much bank on it these days.
There's been a lot of hitters that first pitch curveball, which is, he's been getting over for a strike.
It's getting into the scouting report. The 1-1 pitch. That's a fast one in there for a called strike.
Once again, paint to the outside corner that time by Tazawa. That fastball right in the location where Hannigan set up and had the glove.
He's been very crisp. He's allowing a batting average against him of just 118. Tazawa with a 1-2 with one man out. And he left it wide. Forsythe is now a second baseman, but he was Brock Holt a couple of years ago when he brought 4 different gloves to spring training to play second base, third, short, and the outfield.
Kind of like Ben Zobrist.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. They always seem to have a couple of guys like that.
Yes.
They certainly did under Madden, and they do now under Kevin Cash. The 2-2. Down and in. It skips away. Well, stay tuned for Red Sox Final presented by Plain Ridge Park Casino. TC Steve Lyons will have highlights from around the league, and they'll preview Rick Porcello's start tomorrow against the Rays. Rick's coming off a terrific outing. He's 2-0. 8 strikeouts, only 1 walk against that Toronto lineup, and just 2 hits. Red Sox have been getting very, very good starting pitching in recent games. And today it's been the bullpen with a giant pickup. Starting with Heath Hembree, Robbie Ross, and now Junichi Tazawa. Fouled back, he hangs in.
I tell you, that's one of the few pitches all night long that has missed a location. I mean, and unfortunately for Tazawa was fouled off, but you'll see Hannigan wants the ball away, the fastball away. Instead, watch where it stays. It stays middle plate in. But the ball fouled back. So we haven't seen pitches miss location very much at all in this game.
We are scoreless in the 8th. Tazawa trying to make it back-to-back Ks. And he wouldn't chase it, so that is ball 4. So Tampa Bay with a base runner with 1 away. Sox fans looking for the biggest seats to the biggest games. Well, check out the official Red Sox ticket resale marketplace at RedSoxReplay.com. Best place for season ticket holders to sell their tickets when they can't make it to the game. Here's Logan Morrison now, hitless through 3 at bats tonight.
Red Sox definitely playing him to pull in the infield. You see Bogart's right behind second base, and that's a spot right there where Xander is right now, moving over a little bit, that can really affect a hitter.
Runner goes, swung on and missed. Hannigan's throw, the tag, and he is safe. So Forsythe is down to second base.
Well, you almost expected something to happen in some form or fashion because the game is a 0-0 ball game. He's going to try to push the action, and that time it looked like a hit and run. I don't think that was a straight out steal that time by Forsythe. The head first slide into second base. Bogarts with the late tag tried to get him in the hand, but he kept that hand on the bag.
So now a man at the plate in Morrison. He's chatting with Joyce, who is 0 for 3 and 2 for 35 on the season with 14 strikeouts.
When I talked about Bogarts being in a spot that could affect a hitter, when Tazawa goes to pitch, you see that white uniform behind, and the baseball sometimes comes out of that. So as a defender, you can't do anything back there that's going to obstruct the hitter.
The 0-1 waved at a pitch in the dirt. That helped Tazawa with the splitter. And a count 0-2.
Yeah, that was a real good one that time, and a good play by Hannigan.
Longoria on deck. No score, 8th inning. The right-hander continues to throw in the Tampa Bay bullpen. Looks like that might be it for Smiley. The 0-2 on the way. Now to Morrison. 1-2.
Splitter again, and a nice block by Hannigan again. Keeping that ball rolling up the third base line. That's going to leave Forsythe at second base. There's the rotation on a split-fingered fastball. There's Hannigan not trying to catch the ball, just block it. That's exactly what he does.
Jim Hickey, their longtime pitching coach. The go-ahead run at second base for the Rays with one away, and a 1-2 to Logan Morrison. Cut on and missed. And down he goes, strike 3. Second one in the inning for Taz.
Another excellent split-fingered fastball from Tazawa. Watch this when the bottom just falls out of it and goes away from Morrison. I mean, you think, to me, I don't know. I just think that's the toughest pitch in baseball to hit. I really do. I mean, you see it and it disappears. You know, you can pick up the rotation on it, but that doesn't mean you can stay away from it.
Red Sox with 131 strikeouts. And 11 have come tonight. There have been 21 strikeouts in this game for the two teams combined. Here's Longoria, though. And he cuts and misses. On the night, a walk, a double, and a grounder back to the mound. Forsythe at second after a walk and a stolen base. Tazawa says yes to Hannigan. And the 0-1 pitch. He chased it. 0-2.
Two good splits. Two good splits by Tazawa to start off against Longoria. This one here actually down out of the strike zone. Never really was a strike, but again, the deception on that pitch, and Longoria never really picked it up.
Will we see it again? He is 5 for 16 against Tazawa. Oh, 2. Crowd wants a K. Another one. And they get it. He strikes out 3 men in the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 0-0. choice for value and convenience. For every Red Sox home run this season, Speedway donates $500 to the Boston Children's Hospital. Stop by a Speedway store near you and pick up your Speedway rewards card and start earning points today. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Smiley stays on to pitch, and he deals a strike on Travis Shaw. It is a 0-0 game here at Fenway. Shaw and then Chris Young and then Ryan Hanigan to hit. And a left-hander has been spinning a web all night. He has struck out 10. He's walked 2. He's allowed only 1 hit, a Jackie Bradley single in the 3rd inning. And it's back-to-back 10 strikeout games for him. But it grows late, and his pitch count is right there around 100. They do have 2 men throwing in their bullpen. And that's across for a called strike.
Yeah, notice the location, Dave, of these pitches. There's only been 1 down in the zone. Everything else has been up above the belt, and I think that's what Travis Shaw is going to see a lot of.
Travis 0 for 2 with a strikeout. He swings and misses, and down he goes. There's number 11 for Smiley.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Once again, you know, they're going to go upstairs. And especially with 2 strikes. Now, the last 2 strikeouts they've got Shaw have been on similar pitches, one above the belt, the other one above the letters. And that's how they have attacked him tonight, from the belt up.
He's tied his career high with 11 Ks. Webb and Ramirez working in that pen. Here's Chris Young. Boy, a lot of strike 1, huh?
It's been unbelievable. This has been some pitching performance tonight by both teams.
A little pop up into foul ground. 3 men giving chase. And a catch made by the pitcher. Smiley hits the deck, and he hangs on as Morrison, his first baseman, took him out.
I mean, what else can he do? What else can this guy do tonight? And look at the game he's pitching, and look at the play he just makes. I mean, he takes on his catcher Casale and Morrison, the first baseman, with no fear. I mean, he's got that thing lined up all the way, plus knows he's got his first baseman coming in to give him a clip. He clips him, and he still makes the catch. And Smiley is all over every place tonight. He took a peek to first base to see if Morrison was going to get there. It looked like he was not going to, so Smiley takes it himself.
So the batter will be Ryan Hanigan, who has walked and flied out. Now 2 down in the 8th inning. 0-0. And Smiley doing a little bit of everything. And a lot of that. That's the 15th time he's thrown strike 1 to a batter.
Well, that makes it awfully tough on hitters. You're down 0-1 15 times in this ball game.
The 0-1 to Hanigan. Bounced up there. Jackie Bradley on deck.
Don't want to wear it out, but once again you see Longoria right on that line at third base, trying to prevent the double.
Two down and a 1-1. And a high fly ball left field headed toward the wall. Jennings back. He's there, and he makes the catch right in front of the National League scores. 1, 2, 3. What's ahead for the Boston Red Sox? Tomorrow's starting pitcher will be Rick Porcello against Chris Archer. This closer look brought to you by FW Web. Selection, expertise, solutions, more at FWWeb.com. Odd to see Archer 1-6 against the Red Sox, an ERA over 5. This one is going to the top of the 9th inning in a 0-0 game. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien alongside, and Craig Kimbrell, the closer, being brought on. A lot of managers will do this, of course. So bring on the closer in a tie game in the 9th inning,
especially at home, and that's exactly where Kimbrell wants to be. You want to get back out there as soon as possible, and this costs another big-time experience right here. 0-0 ball game.
A Rocky against Toronto yesterday, 2/3 of an inning, a hit and a walk. He allowed a 2-run single. Runs weren't charged to him, but it was a huge hit by Russell Martin. Here's Corey Dickerson to lead it off. Red Sox have struck out Tampa Bay 12 times. And Drew Smyly has retired 17 consecutive Red Sox. Boy, this is a night for pitching. There's a high pop-up into center field. Actually, very shallow center field. And here comes Jackie Bradley to make the play. So that'll be out number 1. And tomorrow at 6:30, don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. TC and Steve Lyons will be joined by Red Sox President Sam Kennedy on Yawkey Way. DCU, Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? Desmond Jennings next. He's 0 for 3. Just 4 hits in this game tonight. Tampa Bay has 3. The Sox only hit an early inning Jackie Bradley single. That's been it.
And that came at a time where I thought Jackie might be bunting. Instead, he gets the base hit, and that's the only one the Red Sox have had. Again, shifting now slightly more to the opposite field against Jennings.
Pounded in at 97 for a strike. Now Kimbrell wants to get right back on that horse. So he's doing it tonight. The 1-1. That missed. A check swing and no swing, says Toby Basner, all bundled up against the chill.
How about the pitch, though? I mean, I thought the pitch was pretty good. It looked about knee high. Definitely no swing.
Two and 1 to Jennings. Fouled off of Hannigan.
That had to hurt. That sounded like it got Hannigan right in the mask. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Dead center.
The 2016 CVS Health Charity Classic will feature more than the nation's top golfers. Don't miss the Charity Classic benefit concert featuring Grammy award-winning Lady Antebellum at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence on June 28th. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com/CharityClassicFenway. And Jim Joyce, with a little professional courtesy, took a long walk behind Hannigan. And now the 2-2 from Kimbrell. Inside, that one hit him. Got him on the hand. So Jennings will take his base, and with him pretty good speed, they'll be out to check on him. That was on a fastball.
Yeah, a fastball, and you can see they wanted to go inside, but way too far inside, and it looked like just below the wrist. In the arm area, as you can see, and Jennings says he's okay, and Jennings becomes a threat to steal.
Make sure you know when the game is on. Download the Sox schedule directly into your favorite calendar program. Visit NESN.com/schedule and download today. He is 1 for 1 this season. And will he be taking off here? Brad Miller, the batter. He's a left-hand hitter, a single and 2 strikeouts tonight. 1 down, no score, 9th inning. not running immediately, and that's right through there for a strike.
And we talked early in the game about giving signs at second base. Here where it becomes a little bit tricky. You got a left-hander at the plate, but also you got a flamethrower at the mound. So there's some questioning about who's going to be covering the bag. Sometimes if it's a fastball away, Pedroia will go over and cover. Because a guy throws 98, 99 miles an hour, so that kind of changes things sometimes. We'll see what Pedroia is calling for here on the 0-1 count.
Kimbrel with the 0-1 pitch.
Open mouth. Xander has it.
Runner holding. Ground ball right side, might be two. Pedroia to Bogaerts. Got the out there to first. And safe. Hanley had to leave the base. The throw was not perfect. They do get the lead man at second base, and there are two gone. And Xander wants to know about that slide, I think.
I think he does, yeah. And John Farrell's going to go out and check on it. Let's take a look. To me, on that look, let's take another look. And he's going to the bag. I think it's okay. That's just my opinion. I mean, he clearly could get plenty of the hand and the foot on the bag. And I think that's a fine slide right there. I don't think anything will come of that.
So right now, Joyce looking inside, talking with Torey Lovello. And are they going to want to take a look at this? I think they are. This play is going to be under review.
This will be a very interesting call, Dave.
I think the one area where they could be, the Red Sox, challenging this, Jerry, is sliding within reach of the base without changing his path to initiate contact with the fielder.
Well, he changed his path to go toward the bag and actually away from Bogaerts, as you can see right there. So I don't, it's such a gray area.
And I know you hate the rule.
Watch him go to the bag right here, and he really doesn't even make contact with Bogaerts.
No, he doesn't.
So that's why I think there's going to be, I think it's going to stand up. Now you could see, the shot from left field cam is great because you could see the runner in a path that was taking him towards Bogaerts, but then he peeled back to the bag at the last minute and covered the bag, both with his feet and with his hands. So that's the reason I think it's going to be okay. Now I'm probably going to be wrong because to me, this whole rule is ridiculous.
So if they do decide that this was not a bona fide slide, it's a double play.
It's a double play.
Both the runner and the batter runner are out.
Are out. Yep.
And so it's a double play. So we'll see what they come back with from New York. John Farrell went out to press the matter. We've seen a couple of games end on the call this season, not Red Sox games, but games around the league.
I would check every one of them. I mean, you don't know what it is.
You might as well.
You might as well. Now watch the path he's in and watch where he goes. He's coming back toward the bag. He covers the bag without a problem. Was the slide too late? Did he change directions? I mean, hey, if you can figure it out, send me a text.
I haven't talked to a single veteran ball player who likes the rule.
Look, I'm a guy, Dave, that had my knees crushed many times, and I don't like the rule. And I'm, I'm on the other side of it. Oh, wait a minute, what are they doing? No, they're not. First, they thought they would call them out, but
right.
They're not.
They're not enforcing the rule here. In other words, they're upholding what happened.
Right.
So out at second base.
Safe at first.
Safe at first. So it'll be a runner at first base with two down. So they agreed with you. And Souza will be the hitter. Tonight he's gone 0 for 3. We have a scoreless game here in the 9th inning. This is a home run threat. He's hit 3 home runs so far this season. And Kimbrel trying to keep it 0-0 going to the bottom of the 9th. And fouled back for a strike. Due up for the Red Sox now. Jackie Bradley, Mookie Betts, and Dustin Pedroia in the last of the 9th. But Kimbrel's got to get it there. 0-0.
That last fastball really tied up Souza inside at 97 miles an hour.
Step of throw to first base and a runner back. That's Brad Miller became the runner at first base. And the Red Sox are just hoping it's not Smiley out there in the 9th inning. Anybody but him. The 0-1. He jerked that a bit, which he has had a little bit of a tendency to do when he's missed. He's also had some dazzling appearances. It gets lost a bit in the talk show fodder, but he's had some dazzling appearances. 1 ball and 1 strike.
You know, if I'm Tampa Bay, I'm running this guy because, you know, things aren't just happening in this game, and Kimbrel takes a long time to get rid of the ball. The difference, though, is that he's got such good velocity that can make up the difference. But you can see by that angle the high leg kick.
A strike at 98. Boy, that's dotted on that outside corner. That's an unhittable pitch.
Yep, it certainly is. The fastball away, and the best thing you can do as a hitter is take that.
Now the crowd wants another strikeout, which would be the 13th by a Red Sox pitcher tonight. High pop instead. Short right, Pedroia out. Here comes Mookie Betts losing his cap, but he's there. Side retired, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 9th. 0-0.
With a great night tonight against the Red Sox, mixing up all his pitches, fastballs, changeups, cut fastballs, just about everything tonight, and really had the Red Sox, well, really had him silent all night long. That last strikeout was on a high fastball. 8 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 11 strikeouts.
Our game summary brought to you by Xfinity. So Jackie Bradley is the only man for the Red Sox to have a hit in the entire game, and that came in the 3rd inning to load the bases. The Sox did not score against Smiley, who got out of it with a double play. That one knocked foul, back off on the play to the left. Here's that single back in the third. This has been it.
Yeah, right back up the middle for Bradley on a fastball, and that's been the only hit for the Red Sox in this ball game tonight.
And the last 17 men were retired by Smiley before he exited the game after 8. Erasmo Ramirez is their new pitcher. Right-hander from Nicaragua. He was a starter last year. Fouled back by Jackie. The birthday boy is single and popped to short. Last year Ramirez went 11-6 with a 3.75 ERA, largely as a starter. He's been effective out of the bullpen in 4 appearances. Mookie Betts on deck, then Dustin Pedroia. Sox trying to win it here in the bottom of the 9th. Soft ground ball. That'll be gobbled up. Miller making the play out number 1. That play goes 6-3. Well, tomorrow at 6. Don't miss Red Sox first pitch. Presented by Joseph Abboud. Available at Men's Warehouse. TC and Steve Lyons will preview Rick Porcello's start against the Rays. Mookie is 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. He's also hit into a fielder's choice. And he, like everybody else in the Red Sox batting order, delighted that Smiley is no longer in the game. There's a cut and a miss for strike 1.
Outfield very deep all the way around for Tampa Bay. They're trying to prevent the 2-base hit in this situation.
18 straight Red Sox have been retired. Oh, there's a snag by Longoria. He gets up and guns. He stole a hit. Gold Glove third baseman with a terrific play.
Again, playing the line as you can see, but watch that movement to his left. Very quick. Dives, takes a base hit away from Betts. That's huge right there because with Betts' speed, he has a chance to steal and get in the scoring position. So clutch defensive play while playing the line for Longoria.
The Sox have been no hit for 5 2/3. Here's Pedroia. He's 0 for 3. A strikeout. He's hit into a double play and he's grounded out to third. Tampa Bay trying to get this game to extra innings. The Red Sox have not played one into extra innings yet. Two down, bases empty here in the 9th. 0-0. Flared foul by Pedroia. PD 3 hits from hit number 1500. Cedeno still working in the bullpen, the left-hander for the Rays. And the 0-2. Foul tipped into the mid, strike 3. That is 20 consecutive Red Sox who have been retired as we go to extras.
Well, no scores. We go back now to extra innings, and Joe Kelly, of course, had to leave the game early with a shoulder impingement. That brought on the bullpen. Hembree was the first out of the bullpen for the Red Sox. He did an outstanding job. Robbie Ross really had good stuff tonight. A live fastball for him in this game tonight. Tazawa with the excellent split-fingered fastball as he gets Longoria here on the splitter. Threw him 3 in that at bat. And then Kimbrel with the blazing fastball gets the final out in the top of the 9th inning. So we go to extras here at Fenway.
What a night for the bullpen. And Matt Barnes will try and continue that now into his 6th effort of the season, 1-0 with a 3.38 ERA. And the bullpen allowing just 3 hits and 8 1/3 with 11 strikeouts. But the Red Sox on the offensive end are not getting anywhere near first base. Here's Kiermaier to lead things off. He's gone 0 for 3 on to the 10th. And he foul tips it to the mitt for strike 1. He struck out, grounded to second, fly to center. He'll be followed by Casale, the catcher, and then Logan Forsythe, the leadoff man. The 0-1. Tried to hold up. He did. One ball, one strike. Right through there for a called strike with a curveball.
That's 2 pretty good curveballs right there by Matt Barnes. The over-the-top breaking ball, as you can see.
Tampa Bay has struck out 12 times. Bounce to the plate. And the Red Sox have struck out 12 times. Two and 2 on Kiermaier. He's only hitting 156. Ground ball behind the back, but a foul ball. So they'll do it again. If this Tampa Bay club is going to be competitive, right now they're 5-7. It's going to be because of their starting pitching. You saw a little reason why tonight in Drew Smyly.
That's kind of been that way for the last couple of years with Tampa Bay. I mean, the very strong starting pitching and offense that had struggled a bit. But they'll keep you in the games, that's for sure.
They have Chris Archer going tomorrow against Rick Porcello. High fly ball right field. That one headed into the corner, sailing, and it is gone. Kiermaier with his first home run of the season, the first run of the ball game to make it 1-0 Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and Kiermaier got a curveball that time from Barnes and kind of hooked it out of the ballpark. Watch the breaking ball. Stays upstairs just a little bit, just above the knees, as you can see, and a sweet swing put on right there by Kiermaier to take it out of the ballpark.
The first run tonight for either team here in the 10th inning, and a chop foul by Casale. Now, Red Sox will have due up in the bottom of this 10th inning Bogarts, Ortiz, and Ramirez. Casale knocks a foul back. He's gone 0 for 3. They get Colomé going in their bullpen. So Cash all smiles right now. He has a lead, however slender. And the 0-2. Casale with pretty good power. He hasn't homered yet, but he did hit 14 home runs between the minors and the big leagues last year. Kiermaier with a blast. And that'll miss outside. I've been saying all night long that it might take just one, but the Red Sox certainly hope that's not it. Two on the way, and he waves and misses. He strikes out for the 4th time, completed on the throw to first base.
You see the difference in the location that time of the breaking ball bouncing. It was Barnes, and no contact by Casale. The one to Kiermaier stayed up in the zone. That ball down at the actually out of the strike zone. Nice play by Hannigan to trap it and get it down to first base for the out. But the one to Kiermaier just kind of stayed above the knees, and something that's been a good spot for a left-hander to hit.
One out for Forsythe, who's been on base 3 times in this game, so he's been pretty pesky. He's walked twice, stolen a base, and singled. One to nothing, Tampa Bay in the 10th. They have 4 hits to the Red Sox 1. And the 0-1 pitch to the leadoff man. High and tight. One ball, 1 strike, bases empty. 1 out, but a big run in on the Kiermaier shot to right. Two and 1. Again tomorrow, Chris Archer, who's 0-3 on the mound for Tampa Bay against Rick Porcello, who's 2-0. Then on Thursday at 1:35, Red Sox will be flying after the game to Houston. It'll be David Price on the mound at 2-0 with a 4.50 ERA. 2-2.
Not a cut fastball a lot of time, or a changeup at 89 miles an hour by Barnes. He's got that fastball that reaches 97, 98, the curveball, and this time the changeup.
Two and 2 to Forsythe. And the fastball in tight for ball 3. Red Sox pitching staff has walked 3 men and hit a batter tonight. All filled up on Forsythe. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And a high deep drive into left field, headed toward the wall. Young turning around. That's going to be off the green. Played back to Jackie Bradley. It's going to be 2 bases for Logan Forsythe. So he's on base for the 4th time in this game.
That's the 2nd time in that at bat that Forsythe saw the changeup, and that time he takes it high off the left field wall. There's the changeup again. This time it stays middle. Forsythe out on his front foot, but able to keep the hands back. He was a little bit off balance, but still hands back and enough power to get it up off the left field wall here at Fenway. Getting by Young out there, but backed up by Bradley. Was going to be a double anyway.
3rd double of the season for Forsythe, so he's now in scoring position with only 1 man out, and Logan Morrison to climb in. 0 for 4 in this one. There are a lot of guys who are 0 for 4 in this one. And the first pitch will miss. A little bit low for ball 1, says Jim Joyce. Morrison had a chance to put them in front in the 8th inning, but he struck out with a runner at second base, and so did Longoria right after him. Here's the 1-0 pitch to the lefty hitter. 2-0. The best scoring chance all night for the Red Sox was certainly the third inning when they loaded the bases with nobody out.
Yeah, force out at home, then the double play, and that looked like it had a chance to be a very big inning for the Red Sox, but Smiley had something to say about that.
After that, he got the Red Sox 1, 2, 3 in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and the 8th inning. And Ramirez turned the trick in the 9th inning. High fly ball to center. Backpedaling Jackie. The runner goes back to tag as he makes the catch. He's going to hold at second. That was a wise choice. A terrific throw by Jackie Bradley Jr. And that'll be out number 2.
You know, he might have tested him had there been nobody out. He might have tested Jackie Bradley with nobody out, but with one out, and this being the second out, he's already in scoring position. So you don't want to take that chance being thrown out at third base. So he hangs in scoring position at second.
And Carl Willis out for a chat now with the right-hander Barnes. And again for the Red Sox, due up in the bottom of the 10th inning. Xander Bogaerts, David Ortiz, and Hanley Ramirez. And Tommy Lane getting loose in the Sox pen. One run on 5 hits for the Rays. No runs, just 1 hit for the Red Sox. And Tampa Bay with a man at second base and 2 gone.
Well, this is interesting strategy. I mean, do you pitch to Longoria, righty against righty, or do you walk Longoria and then take your chance with Dickerson on deck and maybe go to a left-hand? It looks like they're going to go after Longoria, but I'm sure be very careful with him.
Well, they had a base open in the 8th inning and a runner at second base, elected to pitch to him, eventually struck him out.
Yep.
So they'll try it again with 2 down and ball 1.
You can see there though where Hannigan set up, it was way off the outside corner, and it was almost a pitch that let's just see if he chases it.
They're getting Lane ready for Dickerson, and a 1-0 pitch. And again, wouldn't offer. Now 2-0.
Same thing. Looks like now they're going to walk and put him on first base and take their chances with Dickerson. Now that'll probably make a call to the bullpen to bring in Tommy Lane. We'll see if there's a counter move by Kevin Cash.
So this will wind up an intentional walk of the number 3 hitter Longoria, and it'll be first and second and 2 down. 1-0 Tampa Bay in the 10th. And there's ball 4. And Lane continues to throw on the pen, and here comes John Farrell. So here in the 10th inning, we'll have a pitching change, and we'll see if Kevin Cash will make a move of his own, but we know that Tommy is coming in. And we'll be back in just a moment. 10th inning, 1-0 Tampa Bay. or wants to learn more about baseball or the Red Sox, you can visit RedSoxClubhouse.com with videos, games, a whole lot more. It's fun, free, and easy to use, too. Visit NessonClubhouse.com today. Well, the left-hander Lane coming on. And Brandon Guyer has a bat. Looks like he's going to hit for Dickerson. He's in the on-deck area.
He has never faced Tommy Lane before, and that was a choice that Farrell had. You leave the right-hander in the face of left-handed hitter, or you bring in Tommy Lane. You know they're going to counter with a move, and the move is to Brendan Guyer, who has no history against Tommy Lane.
The runners will be on at first and second after the intentional pass of Longoria. Forsythe, the runner, at second, and Longoria at first. Kevin Kiermaier has launched a home run to lead off this 10th inning. That was off of Matt Barnes, and it is 1-0 the Rays, and a night dominated by pitching. And the Red Sox will be forced to rally. Guyer hitting .353 as a pinch hitter with a home run. He's a former minor league player of the year for the Cubs. Was acquired for Matt Garza back in 2011. 2 men aboard. Fouled away for strike one.
Guyer being very aggressive against a guy that he's never faced either. First pitch hitting. Fouls the ball off. Sometimes when you haven't faced a guy, you like to look at one anyway, but he's swinging with the man at second base.
Must have been figuring I'm going to get a fastball, and that's what he did. 2 out, 2 on. And the left-hander fetches a sign from Hannigan into the dirt to make it 1-1.
Tell you, Hannigan's had a real nice night behind the plate tonight defensively.
Another one. Sox are certainly set at that position defensively between Hannigan and Vasquez. One and one to Guyer. Hard ground ball to third and bobbled by Shaw, and everybody's going to be safe. Shaw committing the error, and that's going to load up the bases for Tampa Bay on what should have been the third out.
Yeah, it looked to me like Shaw tried to rush it a little bit. Let's take one more look. Now the hop actually kicks a little bit to his left and off the heel of the glove, and from that position he can't get anybody. Now you see prior to the pitch he was moving a little bit to his left, had to go back to his right, and that cost him a little bit. So that loads the bases now.
Loads him up for Desmond Jennings, who does not have a hit but was hit by a pitch in the 9th inning. He's 0 for 3. Right down the middle for strike one. Forsythe at third base, Longoria at second, and now Guyer after the error at first. And a count 0-1 on Jennings. Little looper toward right field down the line. It's going to be a fair ball and bounce into the stands. That'll be an automatic double. So the bullpen taking a hit again for the second consecutive night.
Yeah, this ball sliced down that right field line and spinning and going into the stands. It's a fastball, and you can see Jennings go inside out on that. Takes it right down the right field line. Bases loaded. The era opened up an opportunity for Jennings, and he took advantage of it, as did Tampa Bay.
So 3-0 Rays. 2 doubles last season. That's his first of this year. And runners still at second and third. And here comes Miller, who's gone 1 for 4, and he takes outside, ball 1. So the Rays in front 3-0 here in the 10th. And a very deflated Fenway Park for the second straight night here, as that one is outside.
These are frustrating games for the Red Sox. They do have another at bat, obviously, but you can see the fans filing out. Coming on 10:30 here at the ballpark, close to it, and the Red Sox down by 3 runs now.
2-0 on Miller. Sox would dip to 7-8 with a defeat here. And a strike. As you mentioned, still an opportunity come the bottom of the 10th inning, but John Farrell's team now looking up at the Rays. Bogarts, Ortiz, Ramirez, and if anybody reaches Travis Shaw. Here's the 2-1. Could not hold up. He swung the bat on a pitch into the dirt, and count 2-2.
Cut fastball a lot of time from Lane, and certainly a pitch that Miller was not expecting. He was looking fastball, and instead he gets the cutter.
Farquhar and Colomé working side by side in the bullpen.
Farquhar in case they add more runs. Colomé in case it stays 3-0.
The 2-2 to Miller. Now 3-2. Kiermaier homered to start the inning. And now Jennings with a 2-run double. After a double by Forsythe, an intentional pass and an error. And the error by Shaw turns out to be a huge play because that would have been the 3rd out. And there's ball 4. And that's going to reload the bases for the Rays. Another long inning for the bullpen. The bullpen had been a hero all night until this inning.
It certainly had, and it started back in the 1st inning when Joe Kelly had to leave the game. Embry, Ross, Tazawa, Kimbrel, but troubles here in the 10th.
Steven Souza's 0 for 4. No place to put him. He flares one foul. He's flied to left, popped to short, struck out, and flied to right. The Red Sox have been held to 1 hit in this contest. It has been a silent night for the bats. At least so far. Lane home with the 0-1 pitch, and it's up and in. 1-1. Souza is the 9th Tampa Bay Ray to bat here in the 10th. There's Kiermaier, got this thing started in the 10th inning with a home run down the right field line. His first of the season. 1-1 loop foul. That'll make the stands off to our right. So 1 ball and 2 strikes on Souza. Brandon Guyer, the man who reached on the error by Travis Shaw, is over at 3rd base. Jennings, who doubled to right, is at 2nd, and Miller, who just took ball 4, is the runner at 1st. 1-2 home, and now 2-2. Tomorrow, Rick Porcello against Chris Archer. Archer really the ace of the staff, but he's 0-3. And David Price will pitch on Thursday at 1:35 here at Fenway, the last game of the homestand. Here's the 2-2 home. High pop to center. Jackie Bradley a bit over to his left, and he will make the catch. They'll leave him loaded, but they also got 3 runs. We go to the bottom of the 10th. 3-0 Tampa Bay. lead as we go to the last half of the 10th inning. They just got all three.
Yeah, in the 10th inning, it was a breaking ball here from Bonds that stayed a little bit higher and inside than he would have liked. And Kiermaier takes it out of the ballpark. Looked like they were going to get out of the inning, but then an error right there by Travis Shaw opens up the door for a slice double by Desmond Jennings down that right field line to bring home 2 more runs. That makes it a 3-0 ball game as we go to the 10th.
Alex Colomé, who's their closer, will come on to pitch here and try and lock this one up in the first meeting of the year between these two. Xander Bogaerts will lead things off. The Sox have not had a base runner since Jackie Bradley's single in the 3rd inning. That is 20 consecutive batters retired. Xander is 0 for 3. So Sox just trying to get someone to first base. 1 ball, 1 strike. David Ortiz on deck, then Hanley Ramirez. So great part of the order to try and do something and climb back into the game. First extra inning game of the season for the Red Sox. Here comes the 1-1. Little looper, and that'll find a home in the stands.
Well, you think about the bullpens in this ball game for both teams. The Red Sox obviously had to go to the bullpen very early because of injury. Smiley goes deep in the game, and they haven't had to use much of their bullpen at all. And that could make a difference in games coming up in the remainder of the series.
Colomé certainly not a man used to this role. On Sunday against the White Sox, he got his first career save. Waved at and missed, and down goes Xander Bogaerts. He fans for the 2nd time, and it's 21 straight Red Sox retired.
That's a slider that time. It starts on the outside part of the plate and finishes well off the plate. But when you see a swing like that, righty against righty on a slider, he just didn't pick the ball up very well.
Now David Ortiz, been a tough night for Big Papi. He has struck out 3 times. In there for called strike 1 at 95. For Colomé, that first career save was his first in 400 professional appearances in both the minors and the major leagues. He had never had a save at any level. And he left that one high. He won his season debut on April 5 against Toronto, throwing a season high 34 pitches. They won that one on the new slide rule. Unprecedented fashion. Chopper into the shift. Forsythe from right. 2 down.
Frustrating night for David Ortiz. The 3 strikeouts, now the ground out, and last chance for the Red Sox will be Hanley Ramirez.
Hanley 0 for 3, fly to right, struck out, and grounded out to 3rd. Tampa Bay pitching has set down 22 consecutive Red Sox. Jerry, it has been no fun.
No, this is it's no fun when you go into a ball game and offensively you're able to only muster 1 hit. You got well pitched baseball on both sides, but offensively you just could not do anything tonight with Smiley or the bullpen to this point.
1 ball and 1 strike. Looks like Brock Holt is going to play tomorrow, and the Red Sox could certainly use the jolt of energy that he brings. The 1-1 to Hanley. In there for a called strike. And also on the line tonight, Dustin Pedroia with a hitting streak that could die at 10. And he has reached base each of his last 48 games against the American League East, but he's not been on base tonight. The Sox are down to their last strike, so that could end. The 1-2 up top. 3-0 Tampa Bay in the 10th. They've been the better team tonight in terms of offense, not by a whole lot, but they have 6 hits. The Red Sox only 1. And a 2-2 to Hanley from Colome. Waved at and missed, and that does it. Strike 3, ball game over. And the last 23 straight Red Sox are retired here tonight as Tampa Bay wins it in extra innings by a final score of 3-0. TC, they got them all there in the 10th. Their pitching was brilliant. You have to tip your cap to the Rays staff tonight.